We ready?
We are.
All right.
Hold on. Okay, now I'm ready.
That was not a beer. after this, you may need one.
Well, I'm glad to finally have you guys here, Brooklyn and Lyla.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. I have been told so many great things about you. You're kind of like a myth, a legend.
Uh-oh.
So to finally see
I
you in
know.
person.
What did they say?
Hopefully it's good. And you're not talking to my exes. I mean,
No, I'm talking to like fond family members. But like you have like no digital print on social media, nothing. Which
You work for the CIA?
I do.
I
No.
know.
But now I'm going to have to kill you guys, so I'm sorry.
Can we at least finish the podcast?
I'm just going to let you guys know that we should be wrapping this up in about 45 minutes. You guys can come in and just, we need to clean up.
There's a window on the northeast side.
They may be coming out. He's already got his escape
He does
route
travel
planned.
a lot, so.
No, we've tried to. I always tease my wife. I'm like, I have so many ex-girlfriends that I don't want them finding me. But it hasn't
And
been that.
taking me
Exactly. She's like, well, they can have you, so maybe you should have a digital footprint. No, it's more. I work a lot, and I don't believe in social media, and I know that's horrible, right? Because that's how everybody communicates.
I don't like it either.
I don't either. If I could get away from it, I mean, I would. But
It's hard because everybody has an opinion, which is great, but it's a way for everybody to express it. And so sometimes I'm so sensitive. So one bad comment, you want everybody to like you, and you got the one that's like, oh, his hair sucks. You're like, oh my God, should I change this? Should I go get my hair cut or something? So I've just kind of taken it back and just said, we run a restaurant, we do things, and we're heavily involved in the community.
Yeah.
We do more philanthropy in this city, and people don't know about it. And I let Buck's Backyard have, all of the credit, and we're in the back, we donate all of the food, we do things. And for me, it's not about getting recognition. It's not about, getting the likes. It's just about just being,
which I love.
Being a soldier of the Lord and helping how you can without the recognition. But at the same time, you realize that you have to branch out and do some of these things. So we own a restaurant. You have to be in the public. You have to, make it known that Buda has a restaurant downtown. I mean, I don't know how many people are from Buda that have never been to Main Street. Yeah. I'm sure it's probably like, 15, what is 20? The population? Like 19,000. So it's like 18,900 could probably say they've never been to Main Street. Yeah. But so it's about time that we kind of ventured out and just, said, hey, we're here. Just don't forget about us.
Before we get into the whole restaurant and everything, tell us like how Brooklyn came to be and what got you here, your path, all of it.
Really? You want to know?
It's a lot.
Let's start in Utah.
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh gosh, you've done your homework.
You've done your research.
I mean, this is great. So my mom is a tiger mom. I don't know if you've ever been in the restaurant. You'll see this little short Taiwanese.
I love
Taiwanese
her.
One. She is probably the face. We probably should have never have named it Brooklyn. It should have been like, Miss Choose.
Yes.
But anyways,
so
Tiger Mom, we grew up, if you weren't, so I've got a doctorate in biochemistry. Really, I've got 2 PhDs, one in organic chemistry and one in biochemistry, but my mher still says that I'm not a real doctor. So if you've ever had a mom that's like, thinks that you're the underachiever, so she tells all of my relatives, all of my friends, they're all real surgeons, right? They're all real doctors. She's like, oh, that's okay, Bookie. He's not even real doctor. That's okay. So, growing up, but, I was valedictorian, right, of my high school, graduated top honors in undergraduate, got my first B. I only got 1 B in my entire life.
Oh, my gosh. She holds it over
which
his head.
Which is funny because it was in human sexuality.
Yeah.
So my dad's like, you got to be in the 1 B, you got to be in human sexuality. I'm like, I just go advertise that, Dad. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for telling everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what.
Now everybody knows.
Yeah, hey, thank you. I didn't know what crowning was. Okay, that was my anyway. So, but no, my dad was military. He was a professor at the Air Force Academy. So he was stationed at the military base in Utah, and then he went and taught electrical engineering at the Air Force Academy. We got to stay mostly in Colorado Springs, so that's where I kind of really grew up.
Yeah.
And then I decided to come to graduate school here after going to Colorado State, and it was either Berkeley or here, and here they had the best looking girls. I'm just saying, like, so what they did is they had the two hottest molecular biology girls take you to 6th Street, right? Like when you're coming to visit and you're like, hey, just letting you know that, the education is super good, but maybe you should go out with these girls and, go venture out to 6th Street. And then you're like, where do I sign up? Right? Like I don't, Berkeley where? I don't, and don't get me wrong, Berkeley probably has really good looking girls, but I mean, they talk to you here. They were super down to earth, really good looking, 6th Street, vivacious. And so I was like, I'm going to come here.
My dad, when I was touring college campuses, we went to Berkeley and we were at a hotel and we was looking down at the sidewalk and there was a girl that had like safety pins throughout her hole. And my dad's like, you're not going to fit in here. This ain't going to work.
That was kind of the same thing, and I'm a big hunter. So, I was like, well, all of the ducks migrate south. Yeah. So maybe I should just, give this. Plus, eventually I'm going to have to find a wife. And so, you got duck hunting, you got good looking girls, and it's the top 10 school for biochemistry. So, it was kind of a no brainer. Yeah. So, and then I met my wife here and so we've just kind of, now I will say this, that we lived up north in Round Rock. Mm-hmm. And when Cabela's came in, it was like the big draw. Yeah. I'm like, I was here all the time. My wife was like, it is the 3rd week, that we've been there in 3 weeks. So maybe we should look at a place down south because it took us 2 hours to get, there and back.
My kids, when they were little, called it the stuffed animal zoo.
The stuffed animal zoo?
Yeah. Can we go to the stuffed animal zoo?
Absolutely.
He would take me there all of the time, and we'd be like pointing at the fish, and he's like, I gotta go to the gun section again.
Yeah.
I am a collector. So.
Yeah, he likes his guns.
We used to take the kids to feed the fish there, and it was like to kill time. I mean,
yes.
take them, feed the fish for free.
I know.
We tried to actually just leave our kids there. And it didn't work. Because they knew us. They'd call you and be like, hey, your kids are still here. And you're like, oh, sweet. Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. I'll come back and get them. We were having a cocktail. I'm sorry. Thanks.
Oh, honestly, if they served alcohol there, I don't think anybody would leave.
Yeah,
I don't think they would leave. I mean, you just leave your kids there. You
away.
Lock the door. Don't allow your kids to leave. Put a little bracelet on them so they can't leave. And then just go, we'll see you later.
Yep, 100%.
No, but anyways, that's the story. And so we've lived here ever since. So we've been here, I think I graduated in 2007 from graduate school, and we've been in Buda ever since.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the digital footprint, we try to kind of stay away from kind of being in the limelight. We just kind of,
I get that whole draw. I mean, it's tempting every day.
Well, and it's good and bad, right? I mean, you need it, and that's how the advertisement world works now.
Unfortunately. But it also comes with, like, I've had other people on here, the autos.
Yeah.
And people will just free will just dog you on there. And I'm like, it takes one negative thing that someone says, and you have to have 100 positive to offset that negative. Yeah. And I'm like, I miss the days where that didn't exist anymore.
And especially when you're sensitive, uber sensitive like I am.
Yes.
I mean, it's that one that, it just takes one. And so we've just kind of tried to stay out of there. Now, we have some for the businesses, like, the restaurant. And I remember when we first started the restaurant, I would be consumed with checking Yelp. Oh, yeah. Right? With trying to see, and then somebody would put in there, and I would immediately text our managers and go, did you know that this happened? And they're like, yeah, because that was me that they're bitching about, right? And you're like, okay, I just want to know. And they're like, do you want to hear my story or you don't want to hear theirs? I'm like, well, he said that you were, and so anyways, so finally they were like, you need to relax. This is getting a little bit much. And so I had to withdraw myself from reading the Yelp. And so it's very addicting, right?
Yes.
Kind of like I was, you go to the airport and you just watch everybody scrolling.
Yes.
And everybody scrolling up, right? And now this was funny. So I had a friend and he was single and he kept on swiping right. And I'm like, well, that's kind of weird because why wouldn't you just scroll up and down? Like, what's going on here?
Wife.
So then, but that's exact. So then because we were in New Zealand hunting, and I'm like, what do you do? I mean, literally, he was just sitting there, just swipe. And so he told me about this thing. It was, I think it was called Bumble or something, right? Right. And so Bumble or something where you can, and you swipe right if you thought that they were attractive. So we were in there. So then it was kind of fun. I'm like, oh well, this is kind of. Give me your phone. Let's say, I'm like, what do you think about this? What do you think about this?
I'll find you one.
And then within like 15, 30 minutes, somebody would be texting them going, hey, I'm local. And I'm like, if we had this app when I was single, this would be crazy.
Yep.
Anyways, and so social, everything's on your phone now.
Yes.
So,
yes.
practically the whole world at your fingertips.
Yes, 100%. And I always laugh because, like, us going to school, they're like, you need to know the math because you're not going to have a calculator on hands at all times. I'm like, joke's on you, suckers.
all you got to literally
I got
do.
that and ChatGPT.
All you got to do is take a picture of it and it solves it for you.
Exactly.
Tell me about that now.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. So the whole idea of being away from your phone. I mean, now you don't even need TVs. You know,
No.
before when we were growing up, you had to have a TV in every room.
Yeah.
You put one in the bathroom. You know, like while you're taking your bubble bath, you're in there just kind of watching everything. Now you just use your phone.
Yes.
I mean, literally, it's probably bad for my eyes. You know, 'cause
Oh
you're
no,
like,
he watches it like this and then falls asleep like this, and we're
I
like,
know.
is
I
he
have hit my
okay?
head. I'm sure people out there can relate to that, where you just fall asleep and like
Yeah.
you wake up and you're like, I should probably put this down.
Yeah.
And then you're like, no, I'm awake now, and you start kind of doing something, then you fall back asleep.
Yep.
The amount of times that's happened, I'm just like, I don't even question it.
Guilty.
So then you have the restaurant, Brooklyn's down south.
I do.
Okay, which was Cleveland's.
It was. Yeah. So we bought the building many moons ago.
Yeah.
And a guy wanted to put a restaurant in it. So
Mm-hmm.
he put in it, and then he ran out of money during the build out, which happens
A lot.
Everything happens.
Especially downtown.
It's more
Yes.
expensive. It takes longer. So he asked if I wanted to be, kind of a silent investor, and I said okay. And then fast forward a couple years, I think he had a different direction of where I wanted it. He wanted it to be more of a bar, and downtown I wanted it to be just a family restaurant.
Yeah.
So
and that was before there was many restaurants there too.
we were one of the first.
Yeah.
I mean, Nate's wasn't there. Willie's joint wasn't there. It was just basically the Tavern on Main, which was next door to us.
Yes,
and
which was
us.
another bar.
And Garcia's.
Yes.
I mean, and maybe Esther's that were down there, but those were we were, that was it.
Yeah.
And so, since then, obviously, a lot more has come up. But and so we changed it from Cleveland's, in which we got to name it Cleveland's, which was cool because E.J. Cleveland actually built that building.
Oh, how cool.
So that's how the name came, is E.J. Cleveland built it. It was a mercantile shop.
Yeah.
130 years ago. And so when we said, hey, it'd be kind of cool just to kind of pay homage to E.J. Cleveland. So we named it Cleveland's. And then when we were going through the transition we were like, well, do we either shut this down because, he wanted it to be a bar and I didn't want the building to be a bar, or do we keep it open? My entire staff that was in there said, no, we want to keep it open. Please give us a chance to kind of continue, because at that time we had 30 some employees.
Yeah.
And we said, okay, so we were all at the table. We're like, what are we going to name it? And I wanted Elliot's, which is one of our wait staff. Super fun, super bubbly guy. Always, charismatic. The number one waiter in our place. I was like, Elliot's. It's got to be Elliot's. That's kind of a cool name. And everybody voted for Brooklyn's. And I'm like, I don't want my name on this. I just, you just want to go and kind of be the silent guy. I don't want to be there. And so everybody's like, nope, it's got to be Brooklyn's. Well, now it's morphed into, because people don't know if it's Brooklyn's, like it's got a Brooklyn theme, like, hey, you're from Brooklyn, and you're.
I've been asked so many times if I'm Brooklyn that they're like, oh, you must be the owner's daughter, Brooklyn. I'm like, no.
You didn't even name it after me.
Yeah.
Should have been Lyla.
Yeah, exactly.
I get that a lot, where, Miss Hawaiian preteen, pageant sends it to Miss Brooklyn Robertson.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
That's totally me.
Yeah, it's all right. It's kind of like having the, your name's Sue. So we named it Brooklyn's, and we've been in business since the 15th. Since 2015.
Okay.
And everything.
Okay.
So all going on 10 years.
Yeah.
We'll have our 10-year anniversary here coming up.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
Yeah.
That's how fast that's flown by.
It's been fun.
It's one of my kids' favorite places to go to. Like, they love your mac and cheese. I was telling him that your chicken club sandwich is the best sandwich, like, out there. Like,
I will say that the food is absolute. So when we put the restaurant in, I wanted something with a scratch kitchen.
Yeah.
So everything is completely made from scratch.
Yeah.
From all of the vegetables that you see that are in the walk-in cooler as you walk by to go to the restaurant, they're all. My mom's in there making patties for the hamburger patties.
Yeah.
So because it's a scratch kitchen, we wanted everything to be fresh, and we wanted just a healthy choice, and then we wanted it to be in a budget. Like, you cannot get my general manager to raise prices.
Yeah.
She does not, because she wants it to be kind of affordable for everybody. And kids, for September, or I guess, August, the whole month of August, we had kids eat free.
oh, that's so cool.
If you wanted to come there,
it was
we've just
Can I
tried
identify
to
as
give,
a kid?
Yeah.
We just try to give it back, and it didn't matter what size you were, right? They were like, "Well, my kid is 17." I'm like, "Bring him. I don't care. That's fine. You know, as long as he eats from the kids menu, we're good."
Right.
Yeah.
But we've just tried to really give back to the community and have that. And don't get me wrong, it's hard because the fast food restaurants come in and everybody wants quick, right? If you think about it, you're in the line at let's say Chick-fil-A, which is my kid's favorite restaurant.
Love Chick-fil-A.
You're in the line, and if you have to wait like 2 minutes longer, you're pissed.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And you're in there.
Yeah.
And so it's hard because it's a scratch kitchen. I mean, you have to sit down and you have to give them 15, 20 minutes to make it from scratch. So it's been difficult in this day and age to really kind of connect
with the instant
community.
gratification.
I
people.
know.
It's
People want
hard.
it snap, snap, snap.
Fast food culture,
Yeah, but
microwave culture.
And that's exactly it, right? If you can't microwave it in 2 minutes, and even then you're sitting there in front of the microwave going, "Are you? Can I get a more
Is
powerful
my queso
microwave?"
boiling yet?
Yeah.
So it's been tough, but the good thing about it is there's a lot of love and a lot of support in the community. So
Yeah.
Buda has been, I get to see, I know the mayor because, I know city councilmen, I know, the chambers, because the restaurant has really kind of helped us to stay connected. So it's been amazing.
Yeah.
It's been, for us as a family, and Buda is such a cool spot.
It is.
We've got to travel a lot of places. And I'm not saying that Kyle or any places, so
No.
please, I'll get crucified here. We're
It's
like,
okay.
well, what about
Everybody knows
Kyle?
Buda's
What-
better anyway.
Yeah. but
Yeah,
it's
city management of Kyle's tanked
She
it.
lives in Kyle, but we
Oh,
don't,
do you?
we don't
Yes.
tell everybody that.
No, and
Yeah.
I go in rounds with people about roundabouts and everything else.
Well, it just seems
Yes.
like there's more
It's just
commercialization
Oh, it
there,
is.
right? It's
It
like
drives me insane.
there's more restaurants, there's
Yeah.
more
It's huge.
warehouses.
Yeah.
And more whereas
I'm
then
like, you're giving prime real estate on I-35 to giant warehouses that say for lease.
Yeah,
Yes.
the whole place,
Yes.
and you're like, who needs a 50,000
Yes.
square foot, office building space?
Yes, it drives me insane. Oh, and then they brought in what is that? Zeteos lasted a year. Beautiful building, no
Yeah.
longer there. I'm
Right.
like, what the heck?
Well, it's because you have like 30 other places, all the way from
Yes.
P. Terry's to this, to that, to this, and
Yes.
so it's just so
much stuff.
hard.
Well, and none of them have any parking.
No,
I'm like,
absolutely.
Costco has all the parking.
yes,
Yeah.
they made sure that was like solidified in their deal, but nobody else has parking. It's
And
a
so when you
nightmare.
go there, you're like, well, this is great. But,
Yeah.
So it's been
This
quite
is
the
different.
whirlwind. But and then you go to Buda, and Buda's like this. They're trying to keep it like
Yeah.
this
It's
a
cute
cute,
little
quaint
place. The
town.
downtown is so cute.
It is.
If you go there and because I've seen it when there was like. I remember having the downtown merchants meetings, and you'd be in there, and there'd be like 4 of us, and and you're like, are you going to keep your hours? Because people are complaining that you're supposed to be open,
Yeah.
and you're not there, and they're like, well, I had a doctor's appointment, so I'll try to keep it open, And now you go to the Buda Chambers, and there was like, I just came from the meeting
There
today.
was a lot of people.
There was like
I was
100 and some
whoa.
people in there.
Yeah.
And it was amazing, and I remember before it was just. Just 4 of us.
Well, and that's what I really love about Buda, especially the businesses. And I've mentioned this before. They all like to play in the same sandbox. Like you all are supporting each other, rallying for each other because you want each other to succeed.
Right.
You don't get that in other places.
Well, I will say this, that it's been difficult. That was one of the complaints that I had, and I'm sorry if Monica's listening. I'm sure I've complained to her before, but it's hard because so let's just take where we're at right now, right? So you have Brooklyn's down south. And then you have what used to be the Farmers Insurance Building.
Yes.
And then Casa All Day.
Which
and
was
then
never open
the
all
new
day.
building that we're building, which Tim is putting his ice cream shop in. It's official.
my
Tim,
kids are so excited about that. Liam, my oldest, he's like, I can't wait to work there. Like that is all he's
Yeah,
excited
the autos are putting out because I specifically found an ice cream vendor or somebody that wanted to put an ice cream shop.
Yes.
Because I'm like, we have enough bars, we have enough restaurants, we have, the only thing that we may need is a little more shopping.
Yeah.
But we need an ice cream. Every downtown place, and we travel a lot. Every downtown place has like
We
candy in the
always go
back.
get
Yeah.
And then we always, we went to
Always.
Michigan and we went to 5 different ice cream shops.
Oh yeah, when we go to Anna Maria Island in Florida, that's what we do every night. We try a different ice cream shop, and on this little
Exactly.
island, there's like 10.
Yeah, you got
And I will hit all of them. We were on our way home from picking her up yesterday. I'm like, maybe we should go by Sonic.
Yeah,
they're
get
like,
some ice
Daddy,
cream.
it's 10 o'clock. And I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah.
We're still open. We're
It's
still
like an
open.
addiction in our household. We're like, where are we going to get ice cream? Again, we had that last night.
It never gets old though.
Nobody
never
says
gets
that.
old.
Nobody says ice cream
No.
gets old.
No.
So, but then you have then you have Brooklyn's down south, which is about, and then Taste came up, right? So you have 2 restaurants and bars, which are right there, and you're like, okay, well, there's room on the block for all of us. And then I'm like, so what's going in next to us? Oh, wait a second. Hoot Nannies is going in right next to us, which is a bar, which is upper end craft beer. So they're turning the farmers insurance building into Hoot Nannies, which is kind of a speakeasy concept, which I love Josh and those guys. They're great guys. They've had this concept in Round Rock and it's done very well. But okay, so you have a bar.
Yeah.
And then Matt Carver's going in and he's got, I think at first it was going to be called Louie's, but he's the owner of Louie's Barbecue.
Yeah.
And so he was going to put Louie's, but I think it's called like Home and Away or something now, which is going to be a sports bar that's there. So he's going to turn the old Casa Alde building into a sports bar. So, you're like, okay, well, that's great. So did we just get the theme of this? So we have bar, and so it's kind of difficult. And you're like, so I tell the city council, I'm like, can we maybe get some, they're like, well, we can't tell you or can't tell people what to bring and what to put in to these areas. But I'm like, can we just have some diversity? I mean, it's very difficult. There's only so many drinkers. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I mean, we all like,
right.
And actually, and I will say this, that people have kind of moved away from doing
Yes.
drinking.
We talked about that where the new generation coming up, how the alcohol sales are going down because they don't drink.
Easy.
Yeah.
Wine or anything. They don't drink.
It's
Literally,
more
like,
into
they're
the-
spritz drinks is what they drink.
Yeah, or like specialty mocktails
Yes,
and stuff like that.
yes.
So they're more health conscious.
Yeah.
They're trying to do the right things and make the right steps, which is great. So I'm like, we have just, and then the city, I didn't know this, but the city does not get tax dollars or money, I guess, for alcohol sales. I don't know how that kind of
dang.
goes because we're like, hey, I'm bringing in, liquor sales. And they're like, well, we don't get that because there's no incentive, they don't incentivize to
So
bring in
they're not going to
bars.
get taxes off those bars?
I don't believe that. I think the county does, but I don't think that the city, right? So they want like more retail space because they get those tax dollars. They want the hotel occupancy because they get the the hot taxes and stuff. But yeah, they don't. I guess, and I could be completely wrong, Racha. Your whole thread's gonna blow up. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. This guy
Welcome to the
sucks.
club.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but
Don't check Yelp.
I don't know if that's if that's completely accurate. But we
Yeah.
were talking about because the EDC incentivizes small businesses
Yes.
to come in, right?
Yeah.
And they have a little bit of a slush fund that they can kind of help and say, hey, well, we can help with some of these build outs. We can help these, as long as you have some sort of a retail. Like Valentino's came in and obviously kind of ruined it for all of
Everybody.
us. Because they come in there promising the world. They gave them everything and then they went, belly up. And it was difficult to kind of recover because now they're like,
money.
yeah. And then so now there's more scrutiny over new businesses that are coming in and how much money that they're going to get. So anyways, regardless, we're sitting there, I'm just going, oh my God, our liquor sales. I mean, you've got Willie's Joint.
You got Nate's, like that's liquor.
Absolutely.
I know
water to
we
wine.
can get coffee.
The vault or the
Cigar thing.
vault
Yeah.
is there. I mean, even Main Street
Main
Pizza.
Streets, yeah.
Every single place has, and even I call it the Alamo Building, the Meridian.
Yes.
Oh,
You got the Meridian.
yeah.
Every single.
It's all
Yeah.
liquor. I'm like, guys, where's the,
There's-
what?
I
I don't
so-
drink. I'm 13.
We're all kind of focusing on the
Yeah, they need something that's more family orientated.
and that's why we wanted
Yeah.
the restaurant. And we had kids karaoke night, which we're about to do again.
Oh,
I think
it
it's
was
like on the
awesome.
30th, which was so fun. And, we it could either go one or two ways, right? You can have the hardcore karaoke people, because don't get me wrong, there is
a lot.
hardcore.
It's kinda crazy.
There's a lot.
And we're like, I said, hey, let's just try it because our kids love to karaoke. Everybody from
It
the
was
church likes to
crazy.
sing. And so they always ask, hey, can we do karaoke? So we said, okay, well, the first hour we'll have kids karaoke. And then the last couple hours or 2 or 3 hours,
That didn't
we'll have,
last.
No, like the whole time the kids sang.
It was
right?
just all of me and my
I mean,
friends, and it's just song after
it's
song.
11 o'clock, and we're like, do they got to go home? I mean, am I in violation because this is a bar? Do we need to serve food to keep it to where I don't get shut down? But it was fun because everybody, and I said, hey, because don't get me wrong, the adults kind of trickled in there and they were singing. But they were like, everybody's like, it was so vivacious. The energy was there, and it was so fun. And they're actually really good singers.
Well, and kids being kids, like we
Yeah.
just need to bring that back. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, y'all should have seen the amount of people that were like jumping up and down as we were singing Sweet Caroline.
well, the fact that you're probably talking to people too, like
Yeah.
you're not on your phone. Like,
it was just
the
ping, ping,
iPad.
ping, ping,
yes,
The generation of iPads.
drives me nuts when people go to a restaurant and everybody's on their devices and not talking to each other.
I'm like,
Whole time,
what the
you got
heck?
Every single family member, they're sitting there. And,
Yeah.
it's the digital babysitter.
Yes.
And as long as you're quiet, you're okay. So
Yep.
mommy and daddy can have
Yep.
their conversation and have their mommy time.
Yeah.
And for us, our kids don't have cell phones. They don't have. Well, let me take that back. They
I have an
one.
iPad.
It's a flip phone.
Oh yeah.
Right, just
That
in
too.
case if
Yeah.
you ever need to get hold of them, but they don't have iPhone. They don't have any type of thing that they can search media, or they can text, or they can do anything. And they do have iPads, but it's only for school.
Yeah.
And for us, we have really encouraged them to just kind of be out there and be present.
Yes.
And so to have all of their friends there, all of them singing, and it was fun because they were doing like throwbacks.
It was hilarious.
They're doing like
people
jump
like,
around.
what? Oh
right?
no,
all of them like, I mean, they're singing Eminem songs.
It's like little 8-year-olds singing some like TLC song, and everybody's just jumping up and
Yeah,
down.
like about the time that No Scrubs came on and they're singing it, everybody's in there just going.
Yeah.
So it was so fun, and so that's what we're trying to keep alive in Buda, to try to promote kind of like the family environment. I didn't want another place for mom to go shopping.
Yeah.
And for the kids to stay or just kind of be dragged along. So that's why we specifically made sure that we were looking for somebody that wanted to put an ice cream shop. And we happened to find the Ottos, which was great.
They're hilarious.
They were amazing, and he came and he had the same vision.
Yeah.
We wanted kind of we wanted to keep the theme of a nice upscale.
I joked with him about talk about job security as a dentist.
Yeah, exactly.
I did their video it was during COVID, right after they first opened. I would do videos with James at the businesses. And we talked about how they opened the Buda one, and it's right next to Marble Slab.
Shipley's Donuts.
We always point it out, and it's that's a sugar tooth.
Yeah, they're honestly, that was the best reason we made that.
Exactly.
So
And everybody needs a good dentist.
Yeah, and they are very business oriented people. They're not gonna fail at anything. Determined.
Well, and that's what kind of we were talking about, because sometimes you have to kind of cover the expenses, right? Because I mean, being downtown, you don't have the foot traffic, or you don't have the traffic that you would if you were on a huge major thoroughfare. And so for us, I said, hey, look, some months the restaurant is does great, and other months it's horrible, and you just have to kind of be okay with that, being on Main Street.
Yeah.
And so Tim was like, we share the same. He's like, I just really just wanted a place more than anything for our kids. This is Tim, where he's like, for our kids to go. And I'm like, Tim, it'll cost you a hell of a lot less if you just take your kids to an ice cream shop versus having one. But he was like, no, it's always been kind of something that we wanted to do.
Yes.
And it's kind of, it's like that love. It's if you're doing something that you enjoy, you're really not working.
Yeah. Well, and I told him, I said, you could totally do a whole marketing thing. Every time instead of the kid getting a prize out of the prize bin or something, give the kid an ice cream voucher. And I'm like, you think that kid's only going to get ice cream? No, the parents are going to get ice cream.
The whole family's going to get something.
So I'm like, you might have gave, a $5 scoop of ice cream away, but you're going to make $25.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then, which will be great, because then people will come, because right now we're the only, besides Taste, and I mean, it's been dead. And before Taste was there, it was, nobody on the block.
Yeah.
So Brooklyn's down south has just been kind of its own little island. So we want the foot traffic. I want more people to come. I want the kids, to bring their parents, or the parents are, does the tail wag the dog, or the dog want, do you want to come? I mean, I don't know, but the more people that are exposed to downtown, the better. And downtown is really I'm not just saying because we live there and we, kind of run some businesses there, but it's really kind of a cool place.
It's magical.
And the city is trying to invest in building it to make. I mean, you should have seen. It took us literally 5 years to design this building that we're building right now. I mean, because the Historic Preservation Committee wanted it to look, authentic.
Money.
Exactly.
No, and literally, this is kind of funny. So, all of these workshops, all of these things, planning and engineering, your civil, your MEP, everything. And so at the end, we had to get permission to take down, because it used to be Mike's barbershop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Mike had passed away. His daughter was running it for a little bit, and she ended up selling it to us. And we tried to but after COVID, nobody wanted to go there. There was no barbers. Nobody wanted to cut hair in a, brick and mortar anymore. So we're like, well, what are we going to do with this? And so really the building was not, the floor was lopsided. There was no, the pipes were leaking underneath, because they used the old lead pipes. We're like, well, what do we do? We're like, we got to do something. So we had to get permission from the Historic Committee. So now think about this. A historic building, to get permission from the city to demolish a historic building and build something completely different, a 2-story, all the way to the lot line almost, building in its stead. It took us 5 years to convince everybody,
Oh my gosh.
nobody from the city wanted to make the decision. So like, oh, well, why don't you go ask the Historic Preservation Committee? And then the Historic Preservation Committee was
didn't wanna be
like, well, we
blamed.
don't want to, why don't you go do this? And, oh, why don't you tweak this, right?
Pass the buck.
So at the
Exactly.
very end, we tore down this building, right? So, I mean, it wasn't like it was a big thing. It was just like more like a shack. We tore down the shack, and then I put a stake in the middle of it and took a picture, and I'm like, this is what $500,000 gets you. A blank lot, a nothing.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at with all of the designing, all of this stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm like, we are already, and this was, kind of the beef with the city. I just said, we've been 5 years.
Yeah.
You've made us go back and forth between this workshop, this, design this, do this, go back. And then finally we're here, and it's 5 years later, and we are $500,000 into this project and haven't even started.
Yeah.
And so it makes it a little frustrating from our point of
Yeah.
view, so.
Well, we talked to Jeff Parks about that because when he was doing his saloon,
Yeah.
we went and filmed a video in the saloon, and it was down to the studs.
Yeah, I
and
had mics hanging from rafters.
Yeah, and he was like, "Yeah, it's gonna be open in a year," and I'm like, "Nah, with the downtown Buda."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's gonna take you
Can I
Took
can I
forever.
tell you something funny? Now, this is
Of
funny.
course.
So Jeff Parks and I, we did the same. We started the same day.
Oh my
The
god!
same day. We went to the same HPC meeting. I was first and he was second, and he wanted the saloon that he was talking about, and we were there. So I love Jeff,
Yeah.
to death, but so we had enough time for him to build, rebuild, do everything, start a business
Close
idea,
down.
close it down, reopen it, start
Rebrand
that,
it.
revamp it, redo it, and then close down, and we're still not done.
exactly.
I mean, I'm
That's
still like sitting there. I'm
crazy.
like, everybody's like, hey, when's it going to be done? I'm like, well, it could have been done, 4 years ago if we didn't
We
have to go
never
through 5
know.
years
Yeah.
of hoops. But anyways, so hopefully I think, Tim and I were talking, I think in February we should both be done with it. So,
Yeah.
But
coming
anyway.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, I say that, but okay, let's yeah. Anyway.
Well, that will be
Knows?
exciting. Are you gonna work in the ice cream shop?
Well, actually, after Tim Otto is done with the whole ice cream thing, and probably after I go to college, I'm gonna open a bookstore.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm gonna kick the ice cream place
Now,
out.
Tim, you do have the ability to renew, but if you decide not
Yeah,
to,
then
in
I'm
10
gonna-
years,
I'm gonna make a-
she's gonna put I don't want to. And he's like, they're kicking me out already, and I just signed my contract.
Well, if it ever happens,
I'll shop
but
there.
yeah,
I have a
exactly.
newfound love for books after I quit
Oh my
drinking, so.
god.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have any like classic bookstores anymore.
Mm-mm.
It's
It's
sad.
like Amazon.
Spend a lot of time in
Isn't that
half-price
funny? Or
books.
like half-price books.
Yeah.
Or in
Half
there.
price books.
But we went,
Oh.
My
every-
favorite.
She loves to read.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't want to talk for you, but she loves to read. So we went into, we were in Moscow. No, we were in St. Petersburg, right? So we were in there, and they had this little itty bitty, I don't want to say little, but it was a bookstore, and it was absolutely crammed, packed full of books. And then when you you knock on a wardrobe, and you get to go through the wardrobe into another place that has all these cats.
It was heaven.
How cool!
It was just heaven. I was like, there's books, there's cats. I mean, what else
Her
could you
two
ask
favorite
for?
things,
That is
right?
funny.
That you could go through, and it was so amazing. And that was so you'd go all the way to
Yeah.
to Russia. And the
To
one thing that
Exactly.
the one thing that she wanted to do is she found on there was a bookstore that had these cats that you could.
It was a
That's
cat
cool.
cafe, and it was glorious.
Have you been to Second Chance Books in San Marcos?
Yes.
Have you seen the cat Fable? They have a
oh,
white cat there named
They d-
Fable.
I have not seen the cat, but I'm gonna go stalk the cat.
Field
'Cause,
trip.
It's a great bookstore too.
yeah, I like the people at Half Price Books know me. They're
Mhm.
just like, hey, because I'm in there all of the time.
Yeah.
It's like my
I
happy
go to
place.
multiple ones because I'm always wherever because of real estate photography stuff. I'm all over the city. and so
Yeah.
I'm always stopping at a half price book.
Exactly. Just
What do
be
they
like,
got?
I
What do they
got
got
a new
in
book.
this one?
Yeah.
Oh, don't
Well,
judge
I
me.
may need your services because we're gonna have to take some pictures of the inside of the
He's
building because
amazing.
it's an Airbnb, which I would love to take some really good pictures.
I know a guy.
To,
She knows a guy too.
Well,
Who?
so,
You?
Exactly.
well, I know a guy now.
Yeah, we all know.
a
We all know
Yeah.
a guy. That sounds like a drug dealer. Like, you know, hey, what do you
Let
need?
me
You're
hook
like,
you up.
And that
I
window
I know a
is
guy.
locked.
I know a guy.
Yeah. And you're doing an Airbnb above it?
I am.
Nice.
That's nice because I don't think, other than the other side of the tracks, is there an Airbnb on that side?
I don't
No,
even think
and-
so.
And this is like, it's amazing. So it took us, my wife has just painstakingly kind of gone through the design, but it's going to be to the nines. I mean, triple
It's
crown
really
molding.
cool.
I mean, we have Cristallo quartzite, island that's going to be backlit. So there's so much attention to detail, which is kind of fun because all of our vendors are kind of using this as a showcase. So you got to think about it. This is the first building to be demolished completely.
Yeah.
Not having a wall, right? Because I think the Buda Dental, they had to keep one wall. So it's basically on a remodel. So this is the first building in Buda to be demolished and rebuilt, something completely different. So there's a lot of eyes that are on it. So which is kind of fun because some of the vendors, when we have amazing vendors like our lighting design, Brian Reynolds is amazing at helping us with the lighting. I think we have like 160 some lights.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And it's not like, where you're like, oh, it's tacky, but they're like there's some are 2-inch pucks, some are 4-inch pucks, but every attention to detail has been taken to like make sure that this is just to the nines.
Yeah.
And
Top
the
notch.
reason why we wanted it is, we just wanted to draw some like executives or people from Formula One or people from South by Southwest. How fun would it be to get, somebody like Sandra Bullock or somebody, like Matthew McConaughey or, to come to see, to be a part of, you hear about them going to, Fredericksburg and whatever, but wouldn't it be cool if they had a cool schwanky little place, to go and stay that's not, the Fairfield Inn or the, don't get me wrong. If you're
Fairfield's just like, excuse me.
Okay, I don't want to piss anybody off. I'm just saying, or you like the La Quinta. My dad loves it because it's always by a Denny's, right? Or at IHOP.
That was the joke. La Quinta was Spanish for next to Denny's.
Exactly.
And he loves it. So, but to have a place that you could actually, kind of go. So it's gonna be super. It's three bedrooms, 2 baths, and has soaking tubs and walk-in
I know my mom was
showers
like, I
and-
need my bathtub. If I stay up there, I need my bathtub. And we're like, okay.
She's gonna be
So
peace out, Brooklyn. I'm
Yeah.
staying at her.
Well,
Bye,
that's
losers.
like- so it's kind of funny. So we named it old school, right? I don't know, but the 112, right?
Yeah.
So the 112 is supposed to be like like where all the your homies go, right?
Yeah.
And so
I'm
so
thinking
it's
of
she
the
was
funny,
not
band
happy with that
112.
name.
right? It's kind of the 112, and so my son will go, "Where the players dwell," and I'm like, "Do you even know what a player is?" He goes, "No," but he's
Who
like,
taught you that?
Like whose kid? Who lets? I got the Dad of the Year award, right?
Yo,
Like,
this is homeschool kids that are socially awkward, apparently.
I get the Dad of the Year award. Everybody's listening to Christian music. My kid goes in there. Hey, can we listen to Biggie Smalls? He's like,
No,
we're going
he-
around with like an Ice Cube T-shirt
Oh
on.
my
You
gosh.
should, at church
I love
camp, one of the leaders came up to me and she's like, Tristan's not allowed to use the radio anymore because he tried to put on Eminem. And I'm like, why? Why
And
do
I'm
we do
like,
this?
Mockingbird is a good song. It doesn't have a
My
ton of cuss
oldest,
words.
he's like, yeah, Mom, I found this really great rapper I'm listening to. I was like, who's that? He's like, Dr. Dre. I was like, I have failed in the parenting. That you just now.
but have we failed or have we introduced them to culture? Right? You know what I mean? Like,
No, I
did
mean,
they
it
not
took
do the
this
Super
long.
Bowl? They did the Super Bowl, right?
I
You
mean,
can't
they were
say-
great.
Yeah.
I mean, and that was where you actually like understood what they were saying. Nowadays, it's like I have no idea.
It's just
what
crud,
you're
honestly.
talking about. Like,
and it's funny because we did the kids karaoke and they're up there and everybody's like,
No, everybody's
All
like,
the-
how do you know these songs?
all of the church kids are like, my mom won't let me listen to that, but then they're up there going, na, 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 So and then you see some of the parents get up and they're doing like the Kid and Play and the Cabbage Patch, and I'm like, are we bringing it back? I got to do the Running Man.
oh yeah, the
Oh,
kids
it
nowadays
was-
don't know how to dance, so
worm.
let's bring it back.
No.
Centipede.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You go to a dance and everybody literally are
Yes.
on either side, and I'm like, that is
Yes.
not. But what's been cool about the homeschool side of things, you kind of touched on that. It's been fun because we've got to really get them involved in like learning how to country dance.
Yep.
So and then we
it's
go
been
to I'm
crazy.
trying to think of the place, but it's out by Bastrop. But it's the little place where Hope Floats was. It's
Oh,
the little
okay.
dance hall.
Smithville.
Smithville?
Yes,
Yeah.
Smithville.
But it was where Hope Floats was.
Yeah.
So there's this little dance hall saloon that's there that allows you to bring minors.
Oh, how
So which
cool.
before I'm sure everybody can relate. Back when
Yeah.
the Midnight Rodeo.
Yes.
It used to be there where it's like Thursday night. They used to call it the Midnight Ropa.
Yeah.
Anyways, right. Right? I didn't say it. I did not say it, but everybody thought it, right?
Robo-ho-ho.
You know, so, but, you know, we used to all go dancing, and we'd love
Oh,
to
yeah.
go dance.
Yes.
Right? And so, you know, but
I
the
always
kids-
joke with my friends now. I'm like, yeah, remember we would wear the heels and the skirts, and your feet would ache so bad. I'm like, these kids nowadays don't know that.
They
Like,
don't even know. There's not even places to
you
go.
would be freezing to death, but you looked hot.
Right,
you
I mean,
know?
you're like, yeah. But and so the kids actually, we get to go, and they're learning how to country dance. They're learning to go
I mean,
there,
we
and it
were
was
there from like 6 to 1 a.m.
yeah. I was
and-
literally going, can we go now?
And we were
You
just,
know?
I danced with every person in that hall. I don't even know how to dance. I have 2 left feet.
That
But
is
it
so
was
cool,
so
though.
fun anyway.
No, she doesn't. No, what are you talking? I mean, all the guys were like, "Hey, can I dance with you?"
No, it's because he
Aw.
danced with me first. And he was like swinging me around because he knows how to swing dance. And the amount of people that came up and they're like, "You're such a good dancer. Will you dance with me?" And I'm like,
But that's the
Wait
job
till
of
you
the guy,
realize
right?
Yeah.
The job is the guy
Yep.
is to make the girl look good. And so it was.
yeah, I looked great.
Yep.
It was kind of fun, and so you know it's hotter than Hades in there. Everybody's sweating. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, everybody's fighting for a place under the fan. They don't have air conditioning. In there.
Oh, it
it's
was
all fans.
kind of crazy, honestly.
It's 150
Is that
degrees
it?
in there.
It's at Waterson Hall.
Yeah.
That is so
Yeah.
cute.
Yes.
It's the cutest little place that you get to go. You get to hang out. The kids get to dance. I think it's like once a month or something. They all go and hang
Yeah,
out.
like there was like maybe 50 kids from our church, and I'm like, "Oh, I know you. You want to dance?"
That's so cool.
I mean, and nobody was. I mean, literally, nobody's on their phone. Nobody was.
Yep.
I mean, everybody was there. They were present. They were dancing, and the kids are enjoying and the interaction. I could not. I mean, that's what we used to do when
Yep.
we were kids.
so fun.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you find Midnight Rodeo, and then you go there, and it's like, you know, it's the place.
Yeah.
Every
Yes.
Thursday night, everybody
Yep.
was there, and then come to find out it was closed. I'm like,
Yeah. Well,
What?
now I think it's a brewery or something like
Is it?
that. Yeah.
I'm like, well, where do you go? Like, I haven't even been to Mavericks. Has anybody?
Oh, don't go on certain nights because it's
It's a little dicey. Is it?
You're about to
like,
say it. Go ahead. Say it.
talk about swinging. So yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Nope. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Swing dancing.
Swing
The
dancing.
swing-
That's
yeah,
what
exactly.
we were talking about.
Swing dancing.
Swing.
But yeah, I know there's certain nights that they do instruction, and then Bucks does it too.
No, dude.
Oh,
Yeah,
does
they
it?
bring
Oh,
out
no,
people
they
that will
do,
teach
they
you.
do.
Instruction, yeah.
I think I was there one
And
time.
country
Yeah.
dancing, it's so harmless. It's so
Yeah.
fun. And you know, and now
And it's a
we used
beautiful
to
thing
do-
about country music too. There's not really profanity in it at
It's-
all.
it's
It's,
just
yeah.
Just play it backwards, and you get your girlfriend back, your
Yeah.
dog back.
Yeah.
You know,
Dog.
I mean, you just,
Exactly.
you just put it in rewind. And I mean,
house
then
is
you live
paid
a happy
off.
life. That's it.
Exactly.
You didn't cut his seats. You know, you're good.
Yep. Yep.
But, you know, but dancing used to be the way that you just kind of, you know, you as a family used
Yeah.
to go and, you know, just spend. And I don't know what I don't know. We still do that. It's very important. So we homeschool. Well, we actually do an online Christian academy, and so for us, it was about. So I had you know. Rewind, you talk about Brooklyn, right? So you go, well, what does Brooklyn do? Or what? I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's like, well, what do you do for a living? I'm like, oh, that's a hard
Loaded
thing.
question.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a
so
lot of
Which
things.
hat?
He
It's
wears
like-
lots of hats.
it's been crazy because, you know, I was fortunate, you know, I designed a system to concentrate adult stem cells from bone marrow, right? So I researched with Harvard for 6 years. We designed a system and, you know, like, hey, so a lot of my patents revolve around growing bones. So you could use these stem cells for regenerative purpose. They're not embryonic stem cells. They're adult stem cells. They're yours. It's completely legal. There's no, you know, ethical, I guess, you know, disputes over it. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like if I cut you, right, which I would never do. But if I mean, unless this goes south. I mean, but if I cut you, you know, you heal because
Right.
of your adult stem cells, right? So for us, you know, we did a lot in the orthopedic, and so like, I mean, even people like Paine Manning and all of these pro athletes, we've done so many pro athletes, you know, where you do stem cell injections and it helps for soft tissue
Yeah.
regeneration, which is our stuff, which has been kind of cool. So I got to design a system that, you know, you could use in the OR suites, you know, because before Harvard was just using these systems to concentrate adult stem cells, you know, for research purposes.
Yeah.
But you're like, man, if you could take it and bring it to the OR suite to where you could actually help individuals. So that was the hard part. You know, you had a bunch of nerdy PhDs that, you know, were cool
But you're
on
not a
looking
doctor.
at
The ones that went
you
to
know,
Berkeley.
what's that? Those
The
that
ones
went
that
to
went-
Berkeley,
that were
the
actually
real
doctors.
doctors.
The
No, I'm
real
just joking.
doctors,
yeah.
They're still not real doctors. So, but you know, and then you know, you have the real doctors that are in the OR suites that need something to grow bone or to help, you know, regenerate, you know, soft tissue. So it's kind of fun. So I got to be the medical liaison. So I
Yeah.
could say, hey, let's try this. I mean, I remember taking vertebral aspirate from the vertebral bodies in, 2 cc increments to look at when you got more peripheral bleeding versus, adult stem cells, right? Because we store a lot of our adult stem cells in our bone marrow, which is kind of cool. But the problem is, we have a lot of comorbidities. We're diabetic, or, we drink a lot, or, we're just overweight. And so it's hard to get those cells from one area to the other. You're like, man, I just don't heal as well as I used to. And you're like, well, it's okay. It's because you're like 350 pounds overweight.
Yeah.
And so not saying that that's bad. Look, you live your life, you do whatever. But just, physiologically, it's difficult for you to get those cells from your bone marrow into the area that you need healing. So for us, we were looking at, how do we grow bone, right? So soft tissue needs, cell signals and scaffolding. So you need the cells, which is hematopoietic, mesenchymal, and endothelial stem cells.
I'm just nodding.
Mixed.
Yeah, I don't know what these words mean.
Mixed
Yeah,
with.
I'm gonna have to go back and play it in slow motion.
Yeah.
Type it out.
Yeah, this word means this.
Oh, my
We're
biohacker
not
friend is
old.
going to
It's
be so
really
excited.
it's super easy, and I'll
You just messed up
it's
the
cells,
closed
signals,
captions
and
on this
scaffolding. The trilogy to growing any type of tissue. And bone was so hard because we would do these surgeries. And so let's just say that you had a neck surgery and you hurt your neck, you go in there and you get a bone fusion, right? So bone fusion means that you're going to take the adjacent vertebral bodies and you're going to fuse them together, right? Well, what they got to do is they got to come and take the disc out, and so they take the disc out and then they put an implant in there. But ultimately what you're trying to do is you're trying to fuse bone or grow bone between these two bones, right? So what they would do is they would go into your hip, right? So it's like robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah.
So they go into your hip, they'd cut this incision, then they chisel out all of your
Then you got
iliac crest
hip
bone
problems
grafts, right?
later.
Well, no,
Yeah.
that's it, right? So people started complaining more about their hip graft,
Yeah.
the location of their hip graft. So then there was a need for biologics. So we said, hey, well, if we could mimic the environment of natural bone, like what do we need, in there to grow bone? So we go, okay, well, I need, the cells, which are, I think are the most important thing. So you need these cells, right? You need these graft material. And so you go, well, what is in? So we got to research and look at, so we got to work with Dr. Muschler from, the Cleveland Clinic. And, you got to look at, well, what is in iliac crest bone graft, first off, that makes it so successful? Because that's the gold standard.
Yeah.
And then you get to look at it and you go, hey, well, now can we take these cells from one place and how do we concentrate them? Now you're like, oh, well, just throw them in a centrifuge. Okay, that doesn't work because now I've killed them.
But
right?
why not?
So I take all of these things and I
question.
just spin them around really fast, and I just killed all of them. And so you have to have the viability. So you need to make sure that these cells are viable, that they're going to be able to do what they do.
Yeah.
So for like 6 years, it was fun. You got to research with the real doctors, right? On
Yeah.
the one hand,
The
right?
big
Just ask
brains.
my mom. That one's for you, Mom. I am a real doctor, I promise. But you have the real doctors that are in there that are doing the surgeries, and then you have the researchers that are at Harvard Med, the Center for Blood Research. And so we got to be, the medical liaison. So we got to create this business, which was amazing. And so I had some patents that we were using hyaluronic acid and PLGA. I'm like, hey, this is kind of funny. So I'm like, you put hyaluronic acid on your face,
Yeah.
right? So it helps with collagen and it helps with cartilage
Like in
regeneration
every
that's in there,
Korean
right?
skincare.
Exactly.
Well, and then I was like, well, this is kind of funny because your bone goes through a cartilage intermediate, right? So when you take bone and you have soft tissue and you stress it, Wolff's Law, I stress it, micro vibrations, then it kind of forces it. It says, hey, that signal goes, hey, I don't want you to be soft tissue. I want you to become bone. So then your bone goes through ossification. So you're like, okay, well, I just took that and I go, well, if we could do that, then we should have like a hyaluronic acid base material that's mixed with their high molecular weight hyaluronic acid, which kind of signals for these cells to go through this cartilage intermediate,
Yeah.
which then would become bone. And lo and behold, look what happens. So all you ladies out there that use hyaluronic acid for your face, you helped me
Yeah.
with
knew?
creating some patents, which then the Cancer Center Treatments of America came and bought us. And so it was fun because at that time in our life, I was traveling all the time, like literally 260. The last year that I traveled, it was 260 nights in hotels and 157
The
flights.
number of Marriott points we have, it pays
Wow.
off.
It was millions. And we had 157 flights on Southwest Airlines. And Lyla was 2. Tristan was just born. And my wife was like, we need to do something different.
Yeah.
And, it's like, so, and then this is funny. So I'm like, okay, look, I was gone all the time, right?
Yeah.
This was a source of contention with my wife.
Yeah.
So I was gone all the time. And then when I'm home, I'm like, I'm a big hunter, but I like the adventure, right? And so you're so busy with work, right? I mean, you're giving talks to researchers, you're giving talks to surgeons, you're out there giving talks to hospitals because you're like, hey, you got to convince the hospitals to bring this technology into their hospitals. So you're gone all the time. You come home and you're like, and I'm like, baby, I love you. And I know you have
But I
two
need to go shoot
kids,
something.
Yeah.
but I gotta go hunt, right? And she's like, okay, how long are you gonna be gone? I'm like, only 23 days. Okay, like
I'll call you every night.
that's it. I mean, I don't ask for much, right? She's like, well, didn't you go hunting last month? And didn't you go hunting the month before that? Okay. So I go, okay, baby, I really need this trip, right? And she goes, okay,
Like every other
where are
one.
you gonna go? I know. Where are you gonna go? And I was like, I want to go to Nepal. I want to go. So my friend, who's a crazy adventure seeker, want to go to Nepal to hunt blue sheep, right? So you get to go up in the Himalayan mountains. You get to helicopter in to like 10,000 feet.
That's
get to go.
pretty cool.
It is the coolest trip, and but it takes like 5 days to get there.
Yeah.
You got to, and then 5 days to get back, and then you got to travel to the place you got to go. And so I'm like, this is crazy. What am I doing? Can I go? Right? You're asking your wife for permission, and she's like, no, and I'm like, but can I really go?
I will,
like,
I will not take no
Is there
for
a
an
yes
answer.
in there?
can I ask Dad? And so she's like, okay, fine. So finally, she's like, it was hell for me because we were just going through this transition of selling our business and going in there. And whenever you go through mergers and acquisitions, you
Yes.
have your earn out phase, and so it was just really tough. And I would never tell you
Yeah.
that I need it, especially with two.
I want to be with the monks and Nepal.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta go.
Off the grid.
Yeah.
So literally said, okay, I'm gonna go, and left. Okay. So I mean, it was so funny because at first, the text message was like, baby, I love you, have fun, good luck, right?
Then the guilt.
Day 5 comes in. I hate you. Why aren't you here? Tristan won't shut up. He just keeps on. Like note to self. If you come back and your kids are drowned, just know that
You're
I
on
gave
the
it.
couch.
I gave it my all. I'm
That's right.
sorry. So but I went there and it was so fun. So I had 23 Sherpas. So now get this. We fly in, right? You got these rich Americans in a sense, right? You fly in a helicopter and it's 2.5 hours and you go pick up, you literally get set down and these guys have traveled. I had 23 Sherpas. These guys had traveled for 3 weeks to get to where they dropped us off by helicopter. You're in the Himalayan mountains, right? There's no trails. There's no this. They set you down and you're in there. And let me tell you, these guys, and I didn't know this, but at the end, because you have 23 and you're like, man, how much do I tip them, right? Because there's 23 guys. How much, you tip them all.
Yeah.
You're like, you could run through a lot of money really quick. And so Prim, which is, who runs the thing, says, Brooklyn, just tip them $10. And I'm like, I'm gonna be hunting with them for 15 days.
Yeah.
Okay, like I'm not tipping them.
We're about to be
$10.
family.
Like,
Yeah, exactly.
like, we're gonna be in it,
They
together
might
for a
leave you
while.
on the mountain for 10
Yeah,
mean,
they might be like, excuse me.
They're like this guy. We're gonna leave him, right? So,
Throw them off a cliff.
Cheap American.
but literally,
How dare you.
she said, Brooklyn, they work for $1 a day, and I said, excuse me? She's like, yeah. I mean, the currency and everything, it's equivalent. They're out in the middle or whatever, and $1 a day, and I'm like, okay. So in the back of your mind, you're kind of going through there. So we went there, and they were the most humble and gracious people. You couldn't go, and I'm not. So picture this, and they're carrying all of this stuff on their back. Like all the hunters these days, right? Now this is kind of funny. If you're a hunter, right? They're like Kuyu, Sitka, all these things. You got all of these hide. I mean, the Kuyu backpacks are like $300,
Yep.
right? I mean, your shoes are Crispies, right? And which are $300, right? So you get to go. I mean, you could literally, So you could literally go. Now this is kind of funny, and you could spend $5,000 on a get-up, right? Just to go look cool.
Yeah.
While you're in this on your fancy hunting trip and everything. They didn't even have shoes. They were in socks, and I can show you pictures. They were in socks and flip-flops, half of them.
Oh my God.
Didn't have shoes. And they had, like you're like, oh, you're going to go to the mountains, right? Dress in layers, okay? Right? They would have a T-shirt and one jacket. And that was it. And the
Because
jacket
they're
was
acclimated
provided.
to it.
Well, possibly, yes. Or they just didn't have them.
Yeah.
Right? So we're going up there. We're walking through 2 feet of snow, and literally, I've got it was when the GoPros were like in. So I've got this GoPro video footage of you're walking along and you push this your pole all the way in because you're walking on top.
Yeah.
And you'd walk for a little bit and you'd fall through, and you'd walk for a little bit, and I'm showing that it's 2.5 feet deep, and you're going there, and these guys are behind me in flip-flops.
Yeah.
So we get to go. You couldn't sit down, and you're out in the middle of nowhere. You couldn't sit down without somebody putting literally a cushion under your butt.
Oh my God.
I went there, and they had these metal. They had the little single metal tables and a single folding chair for me to eat all by myself. And I said, listen, I don't want this. I told my Hiren, which was my translator, I said, I don't want this. This is not the experience that I want. I want to be with them.
Yeah.
And they was like, no. I said, no, put this shit away. I don't want this. I'm going over there. And so I go in there, and then, everybody's in there, and they're cooking, and they're laughing, they're joking. I go in there, and it's almost like,
quiet.
Drop the mic. And everybody's like, and I'm like, no, it's okay. You can.
I come in peace.
Yeah, you can talk. And everybody's like,
I work for the CIA.
It's okay.
they're all dying after this.
So just enjoy it while it lasts.
So, but the entire trip was just absolutely amazing. And so fast forward, you go and you spend, 20 days with these guys, and you come back, and I said, you know what? I've got it all wrong. I was chasing the earn out, chasing another dollar, chasing everything. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to dedicate. So there's 2 huge important days in my life in the last probably 15 years. Is one when I dedicated my life to my family, and then the other is 3 years ago when I dedicated my life to Christ. So those 2 things were like the pinnacles of, everybody's like, well, what is your most memorable hunt that you've been on? And I'm like,
Nepal.
The hunt for Jesus.
Hands down. Yeah. And I got the smallest blue sheep on the mountain, right? Like, like all of my other trophies are like the biggest. I mean, you go in there.
But that one's uplit.
I mean, it's like.
This is the one.
I've got world record, animals that have never been put in the books. I told you, I don't want that. We don't register them. We don't do it. But I want to be rewarded for hunting the hardest. When you go there, I will go over the next mountain because I don't want to shoot that one because it's young. I want to go get a bigger one.
Yeah.
But this one, everybody's asked, well, what is the most memorable hunt that you've ever been on? And I would say, hands down, that blue sheep hunt in Nepal was it. So anyways, everybody's like, well, what do you do? And I'm like, well, I came back and I teach math and science to my kids. We have some little investments. We have the restaurant, we have some storage units in Dripping Springs, and we have a ranch down in South Texas. But I said 99% of the time, I'm just focused on the family, and everything else really don't care, but just want to make sure that we don't raise little shitheads.
100%.
Amen.
You want contributors
100%.
to society, right? You want them
contributors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That aren't
Not in
that aren't
jail.
leeches to society.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I love my mom to death, she focused so much on schoolwork, right? Like, it was like if you got an A-, I never got an A- because I was only a 3.67, right?
Yeah.
But like during your midterms, right? They weren't permanent grades, but if you had a 3.67, you got an ass whooping.
No.
Like, it was straight up. It was either a verbal beatdown, and if you've ever had a verbal
Oh,
beatdown
you
by
don't want one. It's
by a
worse than a
5-foot
physical
Asian woman, it's horrible.
Well,
or you
she's
got
the sweetest person
she
I met.
is not.
No, yeah, you should
She
see
is.
her.
You say that now, and I'm sure the people that can relate that go in there, they say they're like, "Oh my God, your mom is so sweet,"
She
right? I'm
is.
like, there is a verbal beatdown.
Oh my gosh, I've had way too many times in my lifetime. I'm like, Grandma, I get it. I don't need to
Like,
go
you
to
don't have
Harvard.
you don't have to tell us 5 times, and not every kid's gonna go to Harvard. Like,
I
every
know.
time
She's like, you go to Harvard, and I'm like, sure, whatever you want, Grandma.
like I used to tell her before, I'm like, Mom, I'm gonna go to community college, and she's like, No, you can't be valedictorian and go to community college. They know, no, you gotta go be doctor.
She will like disown you. Like you're now an orphan.
The funniest part. So so you're talking to a guy that graduated valedictorian, right? And then goes into the honors program at Colorado State, and you're in there, and your mom, in an Asian culture, you're either an engineer, you're either a lawyer, or you're a doctor.
Yeah,
There's 3 things, right? Other than that, like if you said anything else, like you'd be disowned, right?
Yeah.
So we go there, and I'm studying for my MCATs, and graduate. I'm going to graduate top of my class. Everything's a shoe-in to go to med school, and I started working at this furniture shop. Well, first I worked at Best Buy.
Okay.
And I'm in there,
Best Buy.
and Best Buy was fun because you got to hang out with a bunch of your colleagues and
Yep.
do everything. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen Molly's Game, which is about...
Yes.
Okay, you've seen it, right?
Yes.
So Jordan Bloom was Molly's brother, right? It's a younger brother. And Jeremy Bloom was the Olympic skier, downhill skier. But anyways, so Jordan Bloom was one of my good friends. We used to hang out all the time. We all had a crush. Everybody had a crush on Molly, right? So his dad, Dr. Bloom, was actually, we talk about, I said I got 1B. Yeah. And it was in human sexuality. Do you know who my professor was? Dr. Bloom. Right. So when she's talking about how big of an asshole this guy is, and I'm like, but I liked Dr. Bloom, but he's unwavering. I mean, if you got an 8, I had an 89.5. Yeah. Right. And I'm like, that is an A, right? And he's like, it is not. And 90 is the cutoff.
It
I'm
has
like,
an 8 in front of it.
We can round this up. And he's like, there's nothing that you're going to say, Brooklyn, that is going to get me to change this grade. And 89.5 is a B. Right. So, so in there anyways. And so I'm selling furniture. We're having the time of our life. I mean, it was fun. We're selling service plans. Back in the day, it was PSPs. You sold service plans. If you bought a printer, if you bought a stereo equipment, a speaker, you were buying a service plan. It was warranted. It breaks down. You bring it in, you get a brand new one. Right. That was Best Buy's kind of shtick. I was loving it, loving selling that. I was the #1 service plan seller. So I'm like, man, maybe there's something to selling, something to selling. Maybe
Your mom's like, don't think about it.
No, that's right. I mean,
Best Buy.
Right. So this guy came along. He's like, hey, do you want to work selling furniture? There's no reason why you shouldn't be on commission, right?
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, okay, I'll go sell some furniture. So, you just like any other job, you just research, European dovetailing, Accuride systems, what types of veneers that you have, and you go in there, and it was more of, you're not selling something, you're just educating somebody on furniture, right?
Yeah.
Do you want solid? Do you want veneer? You want this? And so you're making money hand over fist, right? Because you pay attention to people and actually love on them versus most people just sit in the corner and just do nothing.
Yeah.
So you're telling them about everything. So anyways, I'm going there and I'm like, I'm making money. I thought, for real, I mean, you get paid every 2 weeks. I've got, $1,000 to $3,000 every 2 weeks. And I'm like, man, Mom, I don't need to go to med school. I said, I'm going to sell furniture.
And she's like,
so literally,
nope.
So you think about this, right? So your whole time, you've been prepped, right? As your little Asian tiger mom to be a real doctor, not even so you're in there and I'm like, hey, Mom, I remember this conversation. Mom, listen, I know that you want me to go to med school, and I know that it's very important for me to be a doctor, but isn't my happiness, right? Because I don't know if I really want to be, a doctor. I don't gravitate towards,
happiness.
right, but that's it. I don't gravitate towards medical terminology. Doesn't get me excited to be in an operating room, working late hours, dedicating your entire life, being on call, doing all this. I'm like, I'm really enjoying selling furniture. I think that I'm going to skip med school. And I think that I am going to sell furniture. Okay, well, after the verbal beatdown, right? But I was very unwavering in this, right? I'm like, this is not going to happen. I mean, but after the constant verbal beatdown, she's like, okay, Bookie, I don't want to talk to you ever again for your entire life. And I'm like, Mom, you're going to disown me for selling furniture? She said, as of right now, I don't want to talk to you ever again for your entire life. You talk to your father, but for me, you dead. So I said, okay, right? So then she hangs up, and so I call back, right? Doesn't answer. My dad answers the phone. I'm like, hey, Dad, can I talk to Mom? No.
Nope.
You're officially dead to the family.
So, anyways,
she sends out like a eulogy.
She's like, I'm so sorry. My son, he died today. So, but the whole thing was just kind of funny. So that was, anyways. So the whole thought of your mom and not going to med school and not doing everything. So it was. So then when I decided that I wanted to go to graduate school, my mom is like, you're not going to be a real doctor, but it's better than selling furniture. So.
You're less dead than you were before.
So now she talks to me, but she makes it very clear to everybody that her son's not a real doctor.
She didn't call you Dr. Bookie?
No, which is funny because everybody in South Texas, we own a ranch down there. So everybody calls me, Dr. Brooklyn, right? And so she'd be like, no, he not a real doctor. You don't need to call him that. Okay.
She never let you live that down.
Ever.
It will she will go to her grave.
Ever. So now it's kind of funny because now if you ask my kids, they're like, no, my dad, he's not a real doctor.
Grandma's gotten to us.
We tease my wife about that too. She's a doctor of jurisprudence, lawyer.
Is he?
Or
Yeah, I
Kurt-
mean, doctor. I mean, it's your JD. It's absolutely.
Yeah, but the kids say she's not a real doctor.
Yeah, even a dentist, right? You remember it's like Hangover. They did us the injustice, right? Aging Dr. Faggot. You're like, what? Like you're not even a real doctor. You're like, I am a real doctor. You're like, there's no way. I mean, it's just anyway. So yeah, that was a storybook from my mother.
That is funny. Now, have you always homeschooled or?
Oh no, actually, our kids went to. So we started off with homeschool, and then when they were old enough, we took them to St. Stephen's in Wimberley.
Yeah,
It was a really cool place.
Yeah,
Amazing school, amazing teachers, amazing academics.
I love the teachers. I love my friends.
Yeah, Alice's kids went there too.
They did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a lot. And then Sanger Ellis, one of our friends that owns the Dostrom, his family owns the Dostrom Ranch, and they own the Buda grain mill.
Yeah.
His kids go there.
Yeah.
It's an amazing school. We just, there was a narrative that we wanted to kind of give our kids, and I wanted to be the coolest kid in their class. So I figure if I just took them out of school and we homeschooled them, that I would be the coolest one. Like
he's a class clown.
That's me now.
And they could emulate me. No, it was one of those things that I just we wanted to control a narrative. The hardest part is that my wife has now become the tiger mom. This is kind of fun, right?
Oh, it's scary. We get the verbal beatdowns now
all the time. Which if she's listening, I love you, and I think that it's wonderful. I mean,
you're a great mom.
We wouldn't have raised such amazing kids if it wasn't for the verbal beatdowns, right?
I mean, the amount of crying that happens in the office, it's like, you were not meticulous enough. And my brother starts sobbing. He's like, please don't yell at me. I'm like,
followed by the beatdowns. I mean, there's a little spanking that goes on. It's okay. I mean,
fly swatter.
I mean, the wounds heal.
Yeah.
So we just don't allow them to go. But the one thing
you can tell the ones that weren't spanked. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and going back to what I was talking about before, my mother never taught us the life skills, right? So I'm smart in school, go there, and I had to have my girlfriends do my laundry. I didn't even know how to do laundry, right?
I'm
so
not allowed to do laundry, so there's that.
It's probably right.
You're like,
You're like, they all go in the same spot,
yeah,
right?
I don't empty pockets. Don't zip up zippers. My husband, every time I do it, I just hear this when he pulls it out of the dryer. I'm like, sorry, it's clean.
it's clean. That's all that matters.
The athletics with everything else. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, but she has been good at teaching them life skills. Like our kids, they all cook once a week. I mean, full meals.
That's so cool.
I know. We have our designated nights, and it's like we have to do some hassling because I'm like, I really want to go to this writing class tonight. Tristan, can you cook for me? And he's just like, but that's not my day. That's your day. It's a whole thing in our household. But it's really fun. I know. I'm just like, I'll cook.
Pretend not to rat you out.
Count?
I wish.
That'd be me. I'm like, if it's my day, I'm like, DoorDash?
He'll take us to Sonic. He's just like,
I
your mom's gone. We're going to Sonic. I have to cook Hawaiian meatballs or something.
Dude, that sounds good.
It's fun.
Have you ever had like the conversation with your spouse where you're like, if something happens to you, like, I would want you to do this, right? So
I will haunt you.
Well, that's like me, right? I'm like, I said, listen, if something happens to me, if you marry somebody else, just know that I will. Right?
Yep.
But my wife is like, listen, if something happens to you, you have to remarry. And I'm like, baby, I don't want to remarry anybody. I don't want that. She's like, you don't cook.
You don't clean.
You hate.
That's why you teach your kids to cook.
I do clean.
Yeah,
she's like,
right.
You don't clean, right? And I said, listen, baby, here's the thing. If something happens to you, I have made enough money and saved enough in my piggy bank.
I'll get a chef. How
that
about
I will
that?
hire a chef.
Yep.
Right? I will hire a cleaner.
Yeah.
And I said, probably realistically, I'll just go live with my mom. Right?
Yeah.
And so the
That'd
kids
be
are
fun.
like, no.
Please, no, please, no.
And it's like, I told you, he's not even a real doctor. He'd come live at home with his mommy.
If he was a real doctor, he'd have his own house.
That's right.
We'll have to endure Stir Fry Fridays.
But yeah, Stir Fry Fridays. That was funny. Stir Fry Fridays was the kids.
It's the worst day of the week.
So my mother
does
not cook. She is not a cook at all.
Your mom?
My mom.
Oh,
no,
she's a horrible
Your
cook.
mom's gonna love this podcast.
She's horrible. She's not. Yeah, she
You stay over there once a week, and it's horrible what she feeds you.
But so all my kids, all my friends, whenever they'd come, like on Fridays, nobody wanted to come to our house ever because it was Stir Fry Fridays, right? So she would take, leftovers, and I don't care if it's chicken nuggets, if it's leftover pizza, if it's broccoli, if it's whatever. She'd dice it all up,
Put it all
stir
together.
fry it, and then put it over rice. So it's Stir Fry Fridays. Nobody wanted to eat. I'd be like, hey Ben, you want to come over and eat? What's today? Friday? Nope.
I'm busy.
So now my kids, right? So my kids, they're like, they're like, hey, your grandma's great, right? I'm like, oh, okay, well, why don't you go stay over at her house? No, it's Friday.
Tell her about what she fed Tristan.
So Tristan goes over there and he's like, Tristan. All right, so Lyla doesn't like to kind of stay the night at people's house, right? But she's getting better at kind of doing this. We're working through some of this.
I have history with grandma. She is not a very good
There's no if you
if you cry, you'll
skin
get
your
like
leg and start crying. She's like, you are fine. You are right.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, Grandma, I'm 5.
She lacks empathy.
She's like screaming for you because she's like, oh no, your dad'll be home in like 2 weeks. You'll be okay, right?
Yeah,
like,
you'll be fine. She will not let us
you
call our
about
parents or anything. I'm like, okay.
So Tristan loves grandma.
Yeah,
loves to go there because
he's a
grandma,
mama's boy.
And plus he's a boy, right?
Yep.
And so Asian culture, they love
he's
the
the only
boys.
boy on that side, so everybody loves Tristan.
Everybody loves Tristan. So
Not
he
that
goes over there. He
great.
loves to go over there because she just dotes on him.
Well, he's the heir to the throne, too.
Absolutely,
Exactly.
right? Can do no wrong. So he's in there, and so he wakes up, and so my mom, feeds him, right? So she goes in there and she makes him this big old bowl of cereal, right? So it's good, because in Asian culture, you show love by feeding, right? You come over there,
of food. She gives you a lot
tea
of
and food, right? You feed them. So he comes over there and she's got this whole thing, and it's like 6 o'clock in the morning, right? So he's an early riser and he's eating. He's like, Grandma, I can't finish this. She's like, oh, okay, that's fine. So goes off. They go do their thing. Comes back for lunch. What has he got? The same bowl of cereal, soggy, all in there. And then she cuts up bananas and puts it on top of there. And she's like, Grandma, what is this? She's like, what is the cereal from this morning? You eat it. You didn't finish. You eat it. And he's like, oh, Grandma, it's really soggy. It's like, oh, it's okay. Just think of it like pudding. It's okay. So anyways, he's like, Grandma, I really don't want to eat this. And so finally she was like, okay, you don't have to eat it. Okay. And then anyways, I don't know what she did with it. But anyways, that's Grandma. So and I tell him, I'm like, you guys didn't have to endure stir-fry Fridays. I mean, have you ever had pizza and, liver and onions and broccoli
Did
and
she
everything?
do that to you when you were a kid?
Absolutely.
If you didn't finish your food?
Absolutely.
She'd save it
Like,
for you?
No, she would sit you down and stare at you until you eat all your food. I'm like,
funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Until the big hand gets on this, and if you don't do it, then you get the ass whooping. Yes.
See, and I was notorious for hiding my food in a napkin and then shoving it in a pocket or something. And then I would go stuff it in a silk plant in the house. And so it's funny because my husband's family is 3 generations of restaurants, so I get your whole struggles. And so when my parents divorced, they had all the silk plants. And my father-in-law, who never says no to anything, he's a hoarder. And so the silk plants ended up at the restaurant. So I'm at the restaurant and I'm cleaning. And I was like, what the hell is this white napkin in the silk plant? And I'm like, oh my God. The evidence.
Busted.
I was like, we're just going to throw it away 20 years later. So I get that where they're like, you're not leaving the table till you finish your meal. And I would hide it.
We used to try to feed it to the dogs, but then they got smart. So then they put the dogs outside. So then you'd have to go to the bathroom a lot.
Yep.
So you just fill your mouth, fill your mouth, and then you go there and spit it out in the toilet and flush it and then go back.
And we used to be the generation too with the cushions on the seat, and I would shove it under the cushion, and then I get caught then too. So. And then if you get caught, it was the verbal, beat down, and then it was the ass
little bit of
whooping,
physical,
and then, stare in the corner until you then got hungry again to go finish it.
Exactly.
I'm like,
just to prove a point.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had a fight at our house. What was it?
just 2 nights ago.
Oh yeah, it was 2 nights ago, and my brother is like, we were eating food. I don't even know what we were having, but there was zucchini as the vegetable because we always have to have a vegetable.
We're having spaghetti.
Yeah, we were having spaghetti, right? And he eats everything, but he doesn't touch his zucchini. I'm already done and getting ready to start school again. And he's like, I will not eat this zucchini. I can eat asparagus, I can eat broccoli, I can eat squash, I can eat anything, but I'm not going to eat this zucchini. And my mom's like, too bad, you're going to eat it anyway. And so they're having a stare off for 45 minutes about this dang zucchini. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going, bye. And I can hear him screaming. He's like, I don't want to eat my zucchini. And I'm like, just eat it. Just get it over with. You're fine.
I know that my wife is a female. I'm just telling you, but it became a very big measuring
Alpha.
contest. It was a very. I'm just saying they were both. I mean, measuring.
It was a stare down.
Now it's not even about the zucchini.
I know.
And she actually said that. She's like, it has turned into something other than just the zucchini.
She's like, you can do hard things. And he's like, no, I can't. I'm not eating it. And she's like, well, you will.
And I stayed out of this because it brought back I was in the corner sucking my thumb. You know, like, I'm like, this brings back, I'm like, good thoughts, not bad thoughts. It brought back, I mean, literally, I was like, this is not a fight that I am fighting because
it's a constant
well, and it's
in my
funny
house.
because struggles like that like instill things in kids. Like I remember saying to a soccer coach, he was trying to get me to do something. And he's a dear friend to this day, but I said I can't, and he was like, "You said what?" And I was like, "I can't," and he's like, "Run." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Run." So I was running around the soccer field, and every time I'd come back for a lap, he's like, "Can you still say I can't?" And my stubborn ass, I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Run, keep running." So it was like my 8 or 9 laps. He's like, "Can you still say I can't?" And I was like, "No." And then he was like, "Okay, you gonna try?" And I said, "Yeah." He's like, "I never want to hear I can't from you. I want to hear I'll try." And I was like, "Bet." So to this day, like I don't ever say I can't. It's like I'll try.
And that's kind of like the Robertson's motto. We always say that Robertsons never give up.
Yep.
You may not be able to do it. I mean, I'm not limber enough to go do a backflip.
Yep.
I will. I won't
sure
try
as
because
heck
I will
try.
break something. I will not.
My brother will be like, I'm not going to do it. I can't do it. And I'm like, Robertsons never give up. Do it.
They're worse than I am. They take it to the extreme. I'm like, I can't even touch my toes. I'm not doing that.
Oh yeah, we were laughing because Liam, this year he's helped be the assistant coach for Aiden's flag football team, and so Avery and I are sitting on the sideline watching, and she's like, "Why is he teaching them how to stretch? He's not flexible." She's like, "He can't even do it." I was like, good point. I don't know. I don't know why they did that, but okay. Oh, I got a bunch of 10-year-olds showing them up.
Well, I just learned the other day, I'm having back problems, right? And it's kind of like when you're young, you're invincible. And so my dad always said, just wait until you're 40.
Yeah.
Like, dude, whatever. That's not even good. Whatever. It wasn't even 40. It was 38. I picked, I leaned down to pick my kid up, and back goes out like that.
Oh.
So for like 6 months.
He was hobbling around the whole time.
It's horrible, right?
Okay?
So, you can't even put, I remember, it's probably pretty embarrassing. I couldn't even pull my underwear up, right? So, I'm hunting. No, and this is my guy friend, right? So Jonathan Laborde, we were hunting, and I was like,
I said,
no. You're friends with Jonathan Laborde?
Yeah.
I go to church with him.
Do you?
He used to do a podcast in here.
You should bring him in here.
Nice.
So I was like, Jonathan, I said, hey, this is really embarrassing.
We're about to get real close and personal.
Can you come lift my underwear? And he's like, yeah, sure. Okay. So he comes and he helps me out like, oh God, and so, so you have these ongoing, kind of illnesses, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want to say the other day, it was like last year. So again,
2 years
every
ago.
once in a while, you do something and your back hurts, right?
Yeah,
You just
it
got this
catches.
excruciating back. So, and it's weird because, I would literally, it looks like I've got scoliosis. Like, you can't
His
lift your
back,
hip.
his hips and his back were like,
And, and it looks like you got this. I said, oh my God, and to think about it, my entire world has been working with orthopedic and neurosurgeons, right?
Full circle.
And I just said,
here we are again.
I said, babe, I've got scoliosis. Right? And she's like,
This is why you're not a doctor.
Yeah. She's like, I don't think you just wake up and have scoliosis. Let me see. And she looks at me and literally, it's like this. She goes,
I was like,
ooh.
Yeah.
And the kids are like, oh my God.
We went
like,
upstairs and we're like,
yeah.
okay.
So I'm like, oh my God, I've got this thing. I'm gonna be in the back brace. I'm gonna have to have back surgery. I've got,
Yeah.
So, so I go, and so Dr. Shealy, Christina Shealy, a good friend of ours, and she's, an orthopedic surgeon. I said, hey, listen, I really need a favor. Can you just look at me and see like how bad my scoliosis is? And she's like, okay, sure. So come on in. So I come in there and she's like, look, before I see you, just get an x-ray so I can take a look at it. So I come in there and, it's kind of like, you've already Googled, Googled all of these things.
I know Google says you're going to die.
You self-diagnosed yourself. You've got 3 weeks to live.
Yep.
You're going to be in a cast, for like, a body cast for 3 weeks.
Yep.
Anyways,
Never be able to walk again.
Ever,
Exactly.
right? All of the things that I like to do involve climbing mountains. It's like you better like take up like shuffleboard,
Yeah,
right? Like, you're going to be in Arizona with all of the 80-year-olds hanging out with it. So, I'm in there and she comes and she goes, Brooklyn, look. And so she takes this thing, she looks at my x-ray and she's like, your hips are rotated. Mm-hmm. This has nothing to do with your back. This is your hips. And I'm like, are you being serious? And like I don't have to have surgery. She goes,
I
Brooklyn.
planned my celebration of life.
I'm not gonna die.
She literally went through there and she's like, no, listen, your hips are out of whack. You need to do McKenzie exercises. You need it. She goes, do you stretch? Because I lift a lot.
Yeah.
And she's like, do you ever stretch? And I'm like,
Nope.
Do you have to stretch?
I don't.
I mean, you just go in there, right?
What's a
Like,
stretch?
I mean, like even, I mean, you're laughing because everybody does it, right? You're like, hey, I'm about to go run a marathon, right?
Yeah.
You're like, what is your stretching? You go like this. You put
Yeah.
your arms behind your back. You're like, your arms got nothing to do with you running a marathon and you're
100%.
stretching your arms out, right? So she's like, you need to stretch. You know, she's like, touch your toes. And I'm like, literally like to hear.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm like, she's like, no. All right, touch your toes. And I'm like,
I'm trying.
This is as far as I get. And she's like, oh my God.
Heck no.
So anyways,
Now he does his fairy hips, and he's just like this every time we do a workout.
It doesn't care. I mean, I can do the mamba or Zumba, whatever, Roomba. I don't care. I will shake them hips. Shakira got nothing on that. All right, I'm just telling you.
I told John that you were telling a story with him in it. He said, "Oh Lord, facepalm." But it wasn't really a story about him. It was a story about you. So why don't you tell us a story about John?
About John?
Yeah, you got one of those?
Oh my God! And so John has been, so their family, Casey, when I met them, we were doing workout with, oh goodness
Anna?
gracious, John, no, it was John Sanchez.
He's my trainer.
Oh my God. So this is,
Tortures me on a daily.
I love John. I love their family. I love,
Yes.
I mean, they were amazing. So my wife would go to the boot camp, before.
CG, yes.
Right. So she knew, Casey and she knew Jonathan and I was always traveling. So that became her. I mean, literally, think about it. She got kids coming
Yeah,
along.
it becomes like a family.
It was,
Yeah.
and they would literally take turns holding Lyla
Aw.
while they were working out.
Yep.
And so just super sweet, which was great for me because I was gone all the time. So that became like her little family that was in there. And so Jonathan, I remember meeting Jonathan literally 2 weeks prior. Nick Jensen and Jonathan, I met them just a couple weeks before. I went to one of their boot camps and I met them just prior to going on this trip. And it was to Nepal, which was amazing because, and I didn't know this, but after that moment, Nick Jensen and John prayed for me that I would find Christ and that I would be, a better husband, because you can't be a good husband if you're always gone.
Yeah.
You can't be a good father if I don't care who you are and you want to lie to yourself and be like, I'm doing the best that I can. If you're not there, if you're not walking those shoes, if you're not there with your wife and doing those, you really, you're not, you may be a good person, but you're not the good husband, you're not a good father. But they prayed for me to find Christ. They prayed for me. And I didn't know this, that I was on their prayer boards, that they would always pray for me. Until later, when I found Christ, they were like, we have been praying for this moment, forever. But Jonathan, the fondest memories are hanging out with Jonathan and kind of hanging out with the whole group. But the worst part is when he got into his accident, and I know that for him that this has been life-changing for him because he got in a real bad motorcycle, man, just messing around. And I remember when he bought that Coleman bike, he bought it for his kids, and I'm like, why are you
I know.
Did he ever show you the picture of his face?
No.
I'll pull it up.
Oh, can you do that? I'm like, and then finding out that it's life-changing, life-changing, career-changing, path-changing, and everything. But Jonathan and those guys, we used to go, he loves to hunt. And so before it was just more so just our families kind of getting together. But Jonathan, even though he is a friend of mine, was more so through the workout kind of group. And I felt like I was always the outcast, right? That they were, how it is. I mean, that's your workout family. I mean, you're in there, you do it, and then you show up every once in a while. Yeah, you show up and they're like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And you thought, oh, well, they don't even like me, but it wasn't even that. They loved you enough to pray for you.
Holy.
That was from the tree.
Hitting,
right into the off the bike, over
Goodness.
the handlebars, right into a tree.
Was he wearing a helmet?
No.
That kid's why you don't ride
It was
motorcycles.
a dirt bike. He was on the back trails around his house, just kind of.
Oh my gosh.
His
face.
He hit the
His poor face.
went to hit the brake and I think his wrist or something he hit the gas instead, and it was something he was like switching. I don't remember what he was, but it was around like a 90-degree turn.
Yep.
And
He went straight instead of turning.
Yeah, he's lucky.
And that's when I was
Good thing it didn't hit his eye.
I used to ride crotch rockets all the time, and my dad said, okay, I wanted to borrow $6,500. I remember I wanted to borrow $6,500 to buy a camper to put on the back of my truck. And he said, I'll loan you the money for the camper. I'll loan it to you. No problem. You got to give up riding that motorcycle. And I'm like, there is no way I'm giving up riding this motorcycle. He's like, well, how bad do you want it? So about 2 weeks later, I said, I made a promise to him, and I said, okay. And I had 3 motorcycles. I mean, I loved motorcycles. And during this time, it was when I met your mother. And, I said, she loves me for, you buy the motorcycle because, you think you're going to be cool. And the girls will like it, whatever.
It's the least attractive thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry, yeah. And she's like, I didn't. And she's like,
I hated
I'm
that
not getting on
motorcycle.
it.
Yeah, and that was
thank
her.
you.
Yeah, she's like, I don't even want to get on it. So you're like, okay, well, maybe I'll just get rid of it then and take my $6,500.
My husband
I'll
did the
take that.
same thing. He rode a bike until I met him, and I was like, I have zero interest.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like,
And
get
it's
rid of it.
for that exact. It's for that exact
Snapped his
reason.
leg in 2 places. Right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Look at that. That is.
Completely broken.
Oh.
The shin and the calf bone.
Yeah, he's lucky that it
Ye-
wasn't
I
far
mean,
worse.
That could have been way worse.
I laid my motorcycle down twice. One time was on 183 before it was all 183 all the way up. It was still kind of great. This was back in 1993. And after that time, I was like, I'm done. I was road rash again. Picked up, drug it off, rode it home, and that was it.
Well, and if you've ever laid down a bike and those road rashes, that is the most painful. It's and then when they're scrubbing out, because I laid mine down and they're in there scrubbing the asphalt out of the wounds. I mean, I remember it being so excruciating. I passed out. I mean, they were because you can't have any of that in there. They were. And I just, there's better ways.
It's not worth it.
To travel.
There's better ways to die.
He got hit by a car in Dallas on one of the tollways. Older lady, I guess elderly lady, was changing lanes behind. Didn't see him, I guess, and hit him from behind, and he just went. 70 miles an hour on Mother's Day. Didn't make it to lunch. They're all waiting for him, and like, where is he? How come he didn't make it to Mother's Day lunch? And he was in the hospital.
That's so sad.
My brother-in-law, same thing. So he died in a motorcycle accident.
And I had another friend that died too a couple of years ago.
Left
flew
behind.
Hit a curb or hit a embankment, like a water embankment area with concrete. They didn't find him for a guy came walking by. It was 11:30 at night. Saw him. He was already dead. They think a car might have pulled out. This is in North Austin. A car might have pulled out when he was coming. Didn't see him, and he swerved to miss it. Hit the curb, flew off. The bike went down the sidewalk. They found the bike down the sidewalk, and I guess either he was intoxicated, so I don't know.
He was riding the bike or the person.
Yeah, but they don't know if somebody came out or not. They just assume that maybe he swerved to miss somebody, and that's how he ended up in the.
My
ditch.
brother-in-law, a guy ran a stoplight. He hit him, T-boned him, on the bike, and he bled out, and he left behind two kids, that'll never have their dead. I'm like, I think I'm good.
It's not worth it.
And that's the thing is, you could be the best driver on earth, but the others, it's always the others.
It's the defensive. And have you noticed? And I mean, maybe I'm crazy, but it seems like it's harder to drive these days.
Oh, 100%.
I mean,
Yes,
from when we
definitely.
were, I don't know
You're
how old
on
you are.
high alert on your mirrors, all of it, constantly
There's
looking
psychos out
everywhere.
there.
It's super. It's kind of like
It's
playing
exhausting.
the most crazy video game, right? When you're
Yes.
out there, because it just seems like there's more people, or maybe they do more crazy things.
Well, and they're on their phones too. And,
I can't tell you how many times I've seen people just driving with their legs while texting, going down 35,
doing
and you're
makeup, all kinds of things.
You're like, well, guys, come on.
just set it down for just a second.
Well, and then there's constant road construction too, so that plays into it, where people just don't pay attention, and the exit you thought was there is no longer there. So
and you're trying to get off, and then these Texas merging lanes, are like 30 yards, and you have to. So it's been quite, coming from Colorado to Texas, the road systems are completely different. So when you come here, you're like, you have to be on your A game.
Yep.
And it just seems like in the last 10 years, even now, I don't know if there's just more.
I think it's definitely
people.
got more congested too, like more growth in this area. So like my husband, he works for the Austin Convention Center, and he used to get from our house to the convention center in like 30 minutes. And he wouldn't hit traffic till Riverside. Now it's Buda, or Kyle. Like,
I mean, to get to the restaurant, it's like 45 minutes now, and it should only be like 15. We're always like, we're gonna leave an hour earlier, and I'm like, why?
To go like 10 miles.
You literally used to take 7 minutes to get from our house to the restaurant. So whenever we'd have like a meeting for the staff, and literally, I remember trying to rush to a meeting, and I was meeting the staff, and I left 15 minutes early, and I was stuck on, 967 going towards, Main Street and going into Buda, and I was stuck in traffic, and they were going, and I literally took a picture of that. It took me 35 minutes to get there. I took a picture and said, I'm moving. And everybody said, haha. I said, no, seriously, I'm moving. I'm
yeah, with you, it might make better sense to go down 1626 or 967, turn right onto 1626, and then make a left at that new Robert K. And
Robert
then make
Ashleigh?
Yes,
and go the back
and
route.
actually, and that's what I do. So coming from the restaurant to our house, I just take the back, past the cement factory, come that way, because it's so hard to turn left onto and against, on Main or on 967 at that intersection on Main Street.
Yeah.
It's
That
it's
Robert
horrible.
Ashleigh extension helped a lot.
Well, and it's funny. So you go to all these meetings with the city officials, right? Okay, I'm like, so I mean, I know a lot of them, so I'm sorry. I'm not trying to dog eat, but here's the deal. You
They're
go
city
there.
officials, they
Like,
just-
whoever thought that it
They
was
need to be up for criticism.
but whoever thought that it was a good idea to put an elementary school, a junior high school,
Right.
In a high school.
and a high school that looks like a college campus,
All by
on the
each
same
other.
2-lane road,
Yep.
and go, oh, that's okay. We gave you a turning lane.
Yep.
Yeah.
Y'all
Yeah.
should.
Like,
They all
it
get out
takes
at different
us-
times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that's.
I mean, by the
that's-
time you get there and the elementary gets out, you're sitting through traffic, and then you come back, and then high school's getting out, and it takes us our church is less than a couple miles from our house, but it takes us 30 minutes if we don't go the back road because it's just that one intersection, and it takes so long. Like,
Well, and
guys,
isn't
why
there
did y'all
like a
do that?
cement plant too off of there?
Yes.
So you
and
got all
know,
those giant dump trucks too.
There was
Yeah.
a bad accident right at Oak Forest. That's right there, actually, by the Sanchez's parents' house.
Yeah.
That was right there. I remember when the old woman got killed. That was right there by one of those
I remember
trucks
that.
that
a couple years
hit her
ago.
there.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
crossed over in the lane, right?
Yeah. Because we go through there to get to Hayes Hills. We go through Oak Forest and everything,
Yeah.
which kind of, you feel bad because you're going through
People's
residential.
neighborhood, yeah.
I'm sure they're sitting there just going, we moved out here, so we didn't have yahoos like you doing this. We're fortunate we live on the end of a cul-de-sac, so there's like nobody going through unless they're illegal and they shouldn't be there.
Yeah, haha,
So
losers.
for us, it's easier, but for those we feel bad because we go through and we wind through and you see like 50 other people doing the same thing. Just avoid, because if you hit it just right, 967 and 1626,
Oh, it's gridlock.
going all the way up to Brody. I mean, it's like.
And
it feels
now
like
they
it's-
put those little flaggy things, the pole things, in the median lane, so people weren't cruising down that. That
Yes.
kind of helps.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was a time I went to get Alice from over there, and we were going to Dallas for a summit, and it was downpouring rain, and the traffic was so bad. I was like, we're never getting out of here.
Yeah.
Like, you
Ever.
can't see
It's
anything.
bumper to
There's all
bumper.
these cars. Like, it's very bad over there.
And whoever thought that was okay? I mean, and the problem, I don't want to say problem. And listen, I love Buda, and I hope that more people kind of come and do everything. But, constructively, it'd be nice, right? I mean, we want more people. I mean, we like having people. I mean, we moved here in 2009, and there was nobody out here. I mean, it used to be the Wagon Bag, which is where the 7-Eleven. I mean, that was like the farthest out thing. If you wanted to get something, I mean, the Dollar General, I don't know if it was there or not, but I don't remember it being there. But I mean,
and it was completely dark. There was no lights.
zero. And now you're like McDonald's.
Yes,
you got
Chick-fil-A.
I mean,
Chick-fil-A
there's a
going
Chick-fil-A
on.
there, Starbucks.
Sonic, Starbucks. and
Chick-fil-A
everything.
right by your house.
I know, it makes
I
me
know.
so happy. I was like,
it's kind of a bittersweet, right? Because I'm like, do you know how much
mean-
money we spend on eating out? And I'm
Yeah.
sure, I mean, all
It's gonna be a
America thinks the same thing. And
Yeah.
I'm sure, everybody's kind of cutting back, to, instead of eating like 5 times out, they cut down to the 4. But, Chick-fil-A would be better, than, I mean.
Well, I'm in my Maha phase where I'm making everything at home because I'm like, I don't want any of that in my body right now.
I
Like,
know.
Well,
We went to Chick-fil-A and she made me get a grilled chicken sandwich. My mom, she made me get a grilled chicken sandwich and a kale box. I was like, we're not going to Chick-fil-A
And then-
to get a grilled chicken sandwich and a bunch of kale.
Well, then she's
no.
like, well, then stop asking us to go there, right? And so it ended, right? She's like, if I can't get the fried and fried and fried, but with nowadays, 45 is the new 50, right? For colon cancer, we know so many of our friends that have either passed away from colon cancer or that have had it, and undergone treatment, and it's crazy, and it's all the super processed foods, that we have. I mean, you can't have a loaf of, I mean, you think about it. If you ever made fresh bread, which my wife does, which is
Yeah, I
amazing,
do
right?
sourdough bread.
Within a couple days,
Yeah.
it's molding.
Yes,
right?
100%.
There's no other place, right, that you can stick a loaf of bread and stick it out for 5 weeks and there not be a speck of of mold on
Yeah.
it.
Preservatives are
Yeah.
horrible.
Or put a
for you.
hamburger, a whole hamburger in there, and nothing touches it, eats it, or anything
Yeah.
for months. I mean, I think, or years. I mean,
Yeah.
so
It's going to go stale before it goes moldy.
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
crazy.
It's kind of like the kids, they always want to go. So Tristan, this is kind of fun. Whenever we would drive, right, for long distances, he would always have to go to the bathroom, right? So you're like, oh, Dad, I got to go to the bathroom. So you pull over and you try to go to the bathroom, right? But he never had to go. But he always wanted the snacks that are in there, right? And then you're like, no, you can't do it. And so you go, oh, Dad, I got to go to the bathroom. You go in there. So hopefully he can get a snack.
Yeah.
When did we ever think that it was okay to eat something that sits on a shelf in a bag and everything like,
they don't switch those things
and half
out.
the time, if you look on there and you look on the back, it had expired like
Yeah.
five years ago.
Yeah.
And it still tastes fine.
Chex Mix, everything that are in these little things or candy that sit there, and you're like, that's the same ingredients as wax.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right?
Like
I love
Skittles are
don't
made
get
of
me-
wax.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, we do our science experiments with Skittles
Yeah.
because it's wax.
Yeah.
And you're like, when did we ever think that it was okay to do
Oh,
this?
I remember in high school, I was in a chemistry class, and we burned Dorito chips.
Yes,
To, like, know
because
the
it's flammable.
Yes.
If you want to go start a fire,
Yes.
you can either have kindling, some petroleum products,
Yep.
or your
Doritos.
Cheetos or,
Yep.
or Doritos.
Yep, and it wouldn't even be brown or black. It would just be on fire.
Yeah.
It was the craziest thing.
It's like the burning bush. What is going on?
It's the burning Doritos. The
Burning
stuff
Doritos.
is so bad for you.
So, are you enjoying homeschooling?
I love it, honestly. I mean, I have my cousins go to public school. A lot of my friends either are homeschooled or public school. And I'm just like, you don't really get to learn a lot whenever you're in public school. Like, what you're doing, the teacher's job is to make sure you have the material presented to you, but the kids don't actually care if they learn.
Right.
They're not, like, the amount of people I've talked to, and they're like, and I'm like, how's school going? They're like, I have no idea. I don't listen. I just watch YouTube videos.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what? How are they letting you graduate with this? So homeschooling is honestly so fun for me. I got to take today off because I had a writing seminar, and then I had this, and then I have vocal lessons tonight, and I was like, I have a full day, so I just took school off, and I was like,
Well, that's a great thing about it is the flexibility of it all.
yeah.
Well, and they go to school year round, right? So, but it allows us to space things out. So if we want to
Take
go,
breaks
so
when you
we
want
work. So we have a ranch, and so for the kids to they actually work the ranch. They cook for the hunters that come. They
Oh
clean
my
up after the
gosh,
hunters.
I love this.
They
I know,
clean-
we're
they
like
clean
the
their
I'm gonna
animals.
send my kids.
No,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
she cleans the deer. She is the best. And I'm not, I know that they're, parents always brag on their kids, and half of it's true. I mean, like, honestly,
I
she
can clean a deer in a
cleans
minute.
a deer better than men.
Yeah, my
And-
son can change brakes on my husband's truck and my vehicle, and he knows how to install laminate flooring. So I'm like, I'm gonna teach you all
heck
the skills.
yeah.
Like,
And that's, and those are the things that we need.
I can
We need
put a
life
I can put a
skills.
trailer on a truck. I can
That's
skin a deer.
impressive.
I can.
Yes.
I've been trying to learn how to drive.
Yeah.
With the trailer, or I can drive a tractor.
And they drive skid steers, tractors. They're out at the ranch, and so we bought the ranch, and not because I wanted to own. I mean, if you ever want to lose money, buy a ranch. I mean,
yeah, it's
I mean,
a
that in a
horrible
restaurant, like, you're so smart, but you picked the two things that are money holes,
I
right? And you're
know,
like,
I was like,
I just wanted people to have a place to eat that was healthy, and then I wanted the kids to learn. And so we go through, and when we have hunt weekends, they're mostly our friends, right? So we don't have just random people.
Yeah.
that
It's
go
all
to-
people we know
But they
or have met.
book, or friends of friends, so everything
Yeah.
is vetted. But they take them out. They cook for them. They do. I mean, literally, when the hunters go out and they drop them off, they come back, and this is at 5:30 in the morning. They make their beds. So
We
they-
start the breakfast.
they start-
I'm head of marketing and advertising, so I order all the clothes and stuff.
What
I
the
make the
heck,
newsletters. It's
people, she is the prototype of that homeschool kids.
I
They're
know,
not
not the
dysfunctional.
geeks.
Yeah.
and then we go through P&Ls, and so she gets to go through the P&Ls to see
I
like
did
what we
an
do.
Excel
I mean,
class, so I
Yeah.
can make the Excel spreadsheets look nice. 'cause-
Oh, this is fun. I'll tell one story. So the kids, whenever they're working and cleaning up at the very end, right? One of them gets to be the manager, right? So
Oh,
we get to
it's
do
horrible when
right. So
Tristan's the
we get to do
manager.
the manager through all that. So we go, and so Lyla was manager. I may have got this wrong. It may be the opposite, but anyways. So
I think
so Lyla was manager, and she goes in there, and Tristan has to. So the manager gets to go through the checklist and go, "Hey, you need to do this, you need this, right?"
Delegating, my favorite thing ever.
It's amazing, right? Because they always say that's all I do, because we own the different businesses, we're the bosses, and we delegate, right? Okay, well, I don't know if you've ever gotten your kids to tell you what to do, but I always clean toilets.
Fun.
Yeah.
Okay, like I am cleaning every single toilet that's in there, and that's my job no matter what. I don't care if I've been good, if I've been bad. I'm cleaning a toilet.
You're the toilet guy.
So I'm in there, and I hear them fighting, and they're fighting. They come up to their mom, and because it's always right. Because me, I mean, I'm just another worker. I'm there, right?
Hired help.
Scrubbing
Calcium
toilet.
off the toilet.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in there with the toothbrush, right? They're like, it's not clean enough, Dad. So I want you to. So they go tell their mom, and I hear their mom, right? Their mom's like, hey, look. I mean, you can fire them, right? I mean, you are the boss. Yeah. You can fire them, okay? So Lyla goes, okay.
Oh, yeah, it was me. It was me.
So Lyla goes, Tristan, you're fired. Right?
It was the greatest moment of my life. I'm like, peace,
it's
sucker,
like
get out.
the greatest, feeling of authority. You get to do that. You're there. You're fired. And Tristan's like, well, I don't. And so, Lindsay goes, he's like, well, what I got to do? I said, nothing. You don't have to do anything.
Oh, wait, no. It was the other way around. It was Tristan.
You sure? Okay.
You got fired?
Well, no, because I was trying to help him, and he wouldn't have it. And then he was doing the job wrong. Like, he was the manager. I would do my job, and I'd come back, and he did, like, half-wiped one of the mirrors. And I'm like, Tristan, you have to do the full thing.
A half-wiped job.
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
Yeah. No, well, okay. So I was kind of being bossy. Whatever. It's a character
It's
trait.
the older sister.
Yeah.
It's a thing, okay? I'm the oldest sibling. I have to do that.
Yeah.
And he's just like, stop bossing me around. I know how to do my job. And so he fired me. And then he had to do everything by himself. And I'm like, I'm not up for hiring, okay? I'm just going to chill
But that
over
was the
here.
thing. So he was like, she is not doing anything, Mom. It's like, you fired her.
Yeah.
And so your job as the manager, when I go back and check everything, everything has to be done. He's like, well, that's not fair. She's not doing anything. I said, well, you fired her.
Yeah.
And so, well, I want to rehire her. Doesn't work that way. So
Nope.
she got to do nothing, and he had to do all of the jobs. And let me tell you, because usually we try to be out of the ranch by like noon.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't get out there until 3 because he had to do all of the work himself.
I think I did one. I fired him one time, and then he fired me another, and it was miserable for both of us.
But you get to learn about, they get to learn about that, and then I remember one time they were doing something, we got to learn about socialism, right? So they got to make money. They got to make money because, they were making money. And, I said, okay, well, hey, give me, Lyla made whatever doing some work. And I said, okay, well, hey, give me $5 of that, and we're going to give that to your brother. And she's like, no, I'm not going to give you any of my money. I was like, no,
he
I
didn't
said,
do anything.
No, I said, no, you're going to give me $5 of your money. And she's like,
this.
no, I am not, Daddy. I work, and adamant that
I was mad.
You're
not I worked for that
because
money.
for kids,
Yeah.
money is everything, right?
Yeah.
It was back when I only got $20 a weekend, so $5 was like a quarter of my earnings. So I was like, hey, no.
I said, no, well, we're going to give it to your brother. And she's like, well, he didn't do anything. He didn't, and I said, well, your brother's not old enough to really do anything because he's only like 6, right? Or 5. So he's not really big enough. But you know what? I mean, but we're just going to share the wealth. So we're going to take your $5. We're going to give it to him. And she's like, that is not fair. I am not doing this. He's not getting my money. He should have worked.
Conservatism.
He should have worked.
Yeah, I know.
That's right.
Socialism.
He should have worked for it. And I said, okay, well then, are you sure you don't want to give it to him? I said, okay, well then that's what social is. So you get the chance to actually do lifelong. I mean, these are things. And whether you believe in socialism, capitalism, Marxism, I don't care.
Marxism.
But we get to actually teach them about things. Like they got to learn about Leningrad in Russia, right?
Yeah.
So how fun do you get to learn about the siege and talk about all the devastation, the millions that died, the starvation and everything while you're there.
We got to eat at the Stario, which is where Hitler said he would eat a steak once he conquered Leningrad. And we're just sipping our tea. We're like, Hitler tried to come here. He couldn't, but we did, sucker.
Yeah.
So
it was fun. Like we get to have tea in there and you get to do these amazing things, and don't get me wrong, homeschooling is not like that. So we've been blessed that we have the ability, to do these cool, trips. But, the kids get to go to Spain. I mean, the kids have been to more countries. We took a month off and we went to Hawaii. I don't want to say month off, but we lived in Hawaii, rented a house, and the kids, we got to hunt axis deer and goats. I mean, almost every day, but we homeschooled. So we got to, they got to school from from Hawaii.
And there's lessons my mom always do. That's why we took, because I like, for school, I like making videos because they'll give you a prompt and then it'll be like, okay, now make a video and tell me what you think. My teachers have complained. They're like, we can't watch 20-minute videos of you explaining this one sentence question. And my dad was like, yeah, I'm going to do this podcast thing. I'm like, can I come, please? And my mom's like, learning opportunity, no school. Okay, go have fun on the podcast.
I was telling you, I was like, I haven't even listened to a podcast. I'm so bad at doing it.
I know, he's like, what's a podcast?
They're like, you're a big hunter. Don't you listen to Joe Rogan? He's like, he just moved to Austin. And I'm like, no,
what's a Joe Rogan?
I'm horrible at this.
Joe Rogan.
I have no
what's
idea.
Joe Rogan? What's
All
a podcast?
I know is he's a big hunter. And I'm like, hey, so if you're watching this, Joe, I'd love to come on your show.
Yeah.
I mean, talk some shop about some hunting. I mean, I go everywhere from Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan.
Well, and he's really into science too, so
it would be fun. And and health and the health benefits of all the things, which has been kind of fun. And so it's been kind of fun though to be in Buda and still have all of those outlets, right?
Yeah.
And Buda is now catching up. You've got, there's more. I mean, health in Buda. I got my first facial. You know what I mean? So I went to
At the
Siren
It's
salon
really
that's
nice.
over there that's on.
Yeah.
So I got my first. I mean, who does that?
Yeah.
I mean, but and then you look around the Buda chambers and you see all these. I mean, there's more estheticians there. There's more. I mean, Buda is growing.
Yeah.
And it's getting. The demographics that I think that we wish that we had, because 15 years ago it was a lot older.
right.
That demographics was completely changed.
It's more
on its own,
families now.
Definitely.
which has been amazing.
Before it was very retiree.
Very much so.
Yeah.
So it's hard to relate. It's hard to connect. But now you kind of drive around and you see a lot of kids.
I
hence
mean,
the-
I can't go to the grocery store without being like, oh, I know you.
Yeah.
Oh, I know you.
Yeah.
We lived at the ranch, and it was so lonely because it was like population 200.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been to Dilly.
No,
Have you been to
literally.
Dilly? So
Like the whole population of Dilley can fit in one restaurant, Millie's, where everybody goes after church. And there was no kids. It was like old people or ranchers.
Yeah.
But let me bring this back. So when you're out there though, time stands still.
Oh,
right?
100%.
The most important things are not, checking your social media thing that's there. And the people that go to your church, we have an amazing pastor that's out there
I know, Lance is so sweet.
at the Baptist church. Is there? He's got a doctorate in theology. He's still not a real doctor, Lance. I'm sorry.
Poor
But
guy.
Not the only
and so
one.
you have this amazing preacher that teaches you, that you're there, and so compassionate. I mean, he actually works with us on our ranch. Like he helps me on my ranch. But you're there. Everybody after church goes to Millie's, right? So
It's
that
a
was
horrible
your thing.
Mexican restaurant.
Okay, well, I mean,
the food's
it's
horrible.
It's the only place. There's only like two places, Jalisco's and Millie's. Right?
Yeah.
So you either go to
Millie's
one
is better, but it's still not
It's
good.
just south of Pearsall, which was where George Street is from, right?
Yeah.
So it's literally just 20 minutes outside of Pearsall. But you go there and time stands still. The people are solid. If they give you the word, they don't need a contract.
Yeah.
They say, hey, I'm going to come help you with your house. They're there. You know
Oh,
what
yeah.
I mean?
I experienced that. My husband's aunt and uncle, I helped them buy in Hallettsville, which is like an hour and 40 minutes from here. And the house needed a new septic. And I called the guy up. He, I helped vet for him to have the septic job. And he's like, yeah, you can pay me at closing. Like, that's fine. I was like, all right. And so, the closing happens. And I was like, I'm just calling to let you know that you're going to get a check. He's like, okay, I totally trust you. Like,
Yeah.
and even the guy that came to do like the well water and stuff, overalls, total country guy. And he was like, yeah, just send a check in the mail whenever, It's like they believe like your word is everything.
It's very
to them.
wholesome there.
Yes.
So when we were trying to, we go back and forth. We have a place in Colorado, and it's nice because we're from Colorado, or I'm from Colorado, so we kind of made this circle. We got a place in Buda, we got a ranch in South Texas, and we got a cabin in Colorado. And because we homeschool, we can live wherever.
Yeah.
So we gave it a go to try to live in South Texas. Well, the problem is during that time it was crazy, and if you don't follow politics, I really I'm not. But there was a time when the border was not
Right.
It was not
Oh, it
secure.
was
I don't care
whole
what
thing.
side what side you say. Because
Right.
we own a ranch, we're 82 miles from Laredo.
Yeah.
And we had people,
Left
driving
and
through
right.
our ranch, driving
And
through,
going through gates, fencing,
they just,
all of it.
and all they do, it's called zippering. They just zipper your fence, they lay it down, they drive through it, and we raise exotic animals.
Yeah.
So
And
we
all
would,
of them would get out.
they would get out. I mean, I can't tell you, 3 different times we had to hire a helicopter to go dart, animals that were on my neighbor's
Yeah.
ranch. And so for a while there, I mean, we had, on the text thread, we had the Border Patrol, 3 different, Border Patrol agents, plus the adjacent ranch owners that are around there, because they would just, I mean, it was
It'd
a
be every
weekly,
ranch.
it was a weekly occurrence that they would go through and just kind of meander through. And so at one time, my wife was like, look, I'm out.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got kids,
Yeah,
I
she
don't
was like,
want,
we're moving.
I don't want to, do this. But then, I just said, the lifestyle is what we just, you want those wholesome values. You want your kids, as much as you want to put them in a bubble, right? You want them to be around.
Let them have the childhood we had.
Yeah,
right, where
run around.
you're not worried about, vaping and, I mean, or people shooting each other or doing anything.
Or taking a picture of you and going to use it as blackmail.
I know. The amount of stuff right now in like the public schools, I'm like, what? How did it get to this? It's kind of insane.
Well, and when we were younger, the only thing you worried about was an ass whooping.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You talk
You
shit,
worried
you got an
about-
ass whooping,
yes,
and
getting back
that was
to your
it,
parents.
right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then you got an ass whooping from your parents
Yep.
for so the whole parents stayed on top of their kids,
Yeah.
and look, I'm not trying to say that there's a parenting problem.
Oh,
That's
there
a
is.
whole
I'll say
different.
it.
That's,
Yeah.
There's
You're
a
like, I have
parenting
no-
problem.
all right,
Huge.
I'll say it for you.
there's a dilemma here, and
Mm-hmm.
I really think that it stems from from the families, right?
Yep.
The family nucleus that was there. We have a lot of broken families. We have a lot of, and look, good, bad, or indifferent. It's hard for a single dad. It's hard for a single mom. It's hard for somebody single, that you don't get. I mean, my wife trying to raise my son would be very difficult. So I give
horrible.
kudos to those women that do it, that can do it. But and it's very difficult for me to relate to my daughter. I mean, she the
We
other
butt
day
heads
told
a
me
lot.
how crappy of a dad I was. Like,
Excuse you.
So I mean, in a very nice political. She's very politically correct. So, but
I
it's
use
very
facts,
it's
okay?
very difficult, to raise and so what happened to the sit down family dinners,
Yes.
right? Where
Nobody
you sat
sits
down
down
and you
anymore.
asked. We sit down almost. I mean, I
We
would
do it
say
every
4
night.
or 5 times a week, where we sit down and we just say, "Hey, how are things going? What was this?" We sit
Yeah.
down, we pray over our meals, we eat, and how was your day? What did you do?
Oh, yeah,
What
my
is-
daughter's signature thing when she sits down is like, how was every Wednesday? Like,
Yeah.
that's how it starts,
Or tell me something. Jonathan and Nick are good about saying, okay, well, your highs, your lows, and your
White buffalo.
and your white buffaloes.
Yeah.
Like just interaction. Where did all those go?
I
We're
mean, now
so
all
we
the kids
trade
are
those for a
attached to
soccer
buses.
game, or we trade those for going and doing something, and we catch up for the 5 minutes that we're in the car going from this place to this
Yeah.
place. And so for us, we just said we just wanted to slow it down. And don't get me wrong, we have the ability, because we homeschool and we
Yeah.
do things. So I'm not saying that it's for everybody, but so anyways, so we were living at the ranch, and so the kids were like,
We had no friends. It was lonely. It is hard when the only people you see are your brother, your dad, and your mom.
I'm
there
the
was
coolest
fights.
kid. I'm
There were
good.
fights every day in our household. I mean, the amount of things that were yelled. It was the smallest things, like you didn't take the lint out of the dryer, and there would be a whole cat fight over it.
That is an over exaggeration.
No, there were. I promise.
That
you.
lint in the dryer was when I was doing my dissertation, and I broke down. I had a nervous breakdown. She's pulling from that, and I'm like, "Can somebody just take the effing lint out of the dryer? What do I have to do? There's 15 layers. It's not gonna work." And,
gonna catch
and then
on fire.
you're in the closet, sucking on your thumb, and and then your wife, who's amazing, and she comes and goes, "What else is wrong?
Are you
Is there
okay?
something
Actually,
else? Is there something else that's
What's the root of
bothering you?
this?
Like, is it really the lint? But but yes,
There was a
there's
lot of fights.
There's and it's it's funny your kids consider fights, right?
Yeah.
I don't beat my wife. I
Right,
don't do it.
right.
But
Okay.
there's arguments when you live in a little bubble,
Yeah.
right? You
Yeah.
raise your voice just one octave, and they're like, "What did you?" You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
whereas you go to public school and you're like, "You better
Especially the
toughen it up."
girls. Especially the girls.
Yes.
Hands down.
Because when dad raises the voice, and the girls are like,
Right, like I'm being mean, right? We just went through this,
Yeah.
like your mannerisms that are taken the wrong way. I'm like, I'm just excitable. I mean,
Uh-huh.
that's what
excitable.
If my
yeah,
if-
that's the word we're gonna use for
oh
that.
yeah, well, if you ever work construction, I told you, like this whole thing, like I've learned a new vocabulary.
Oh
Yeah.
dang! Like
and don't get me
they
wrong, I
greet
had a
each other
very
with the middle
good,
finger.
bad
And you work in
vocabulary.
restaurants.
That's it. I own a
very similar vocabulary.
Let me
Yeah.
tell you, there's more f-bombs and more whatever. My buddy that's helping me build this, Trevor Cutler, and she reads my text
It's
messages.
hilarious the amount of cuss words in there,
And I'm
and
like-
they're just calling each other these names, and I'm like, are you supposed?
I'm like, go over to the job site and F them up, right? And
Yeah.
she's like, "Daddy, are you?" And I'm like,
On my way.
I'm like
coming.
the way they they say hi to each other and they just flip each other off. My brother got flipped off by Trevor, and then Trevor was like, "I'm sorry, that I didn't mean to do it to you." And Tristan was like, "Yeah."
He's one of the boys.
I'm like,
One of the
we're raising
guys.
boys. Here.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're raising thick skin though.
We're trying to, but the South Texas was appealing because it just offered that, and Buda used to be like that, right? I mean, we used to, because we live out in Ruby Ranch, and we live, in a cul-de-sac out away, and it used to be the furthest, besides Salt Lick. Rutherford Ranch was
none of it
still
was
not
there.
there. Because we were there 2009. That was as far out as really Buda kind of went, and we were like, yes. And then, don't get me wrong, it kind of grew. I mean, then all the schools, because Dostrom Middle School was the only one there. You had to go to Hayes High School, which is off, Jackson, which is way down there. Now we've got all,
we have like 7 different schools.
Yeah. And so it's just been, anyways, so we were like, well, we're just going to sell our place in Ruby Ranch and we're going to go live at the ranch. Because now, talk about taxes, right?
Yeah.
So, we can get in this. You want to talk, hey, because we pay, like 20 times what I pay for the ranch, right? So we got 700 acres, high fence. We've got a beautiful place that's down there. Everything is nice. And I pay like $3,200 down there. And you show me a house anywhere.
Nowhere.
In Hayes County.
Nowhere.
That's $3,200 for your tax.
It's expensive.
And
it's
that's
insane.
what we just said, well, why don't we just go live down there? And then, and then my dad and my mom were like, no, we move here for you. You know to go down there.
Yeah, and then we have my cousins, and then we have my aunt. So there's a whole family. And we were a little lonely. Tristan would like look at pictures of summer camp and be like, I want to go to summer camp. I want to have friends. And
I'm
my
trying
mom's
to
like,
get
you
your
don't need friends.
I'm trying to get your 2 other cousins on board for homeschooling.
Alice
Alice
Austin.
and Ray's.
Yeah. Oh, I actually I tutor their oldest son, Austin. Yeah, and I sat down with Alice and we were just going over like what he knows and everything because I tutor English for him, and she was like, you know a lot about this. I don't even know what he's learning in school. I should homeschool my kids. And I was like, yeah, you should.
Yeah, she's
but I think
slowly fading into it.
But I think it takes, the diligence of the parents
too,
right? Because you can't blindly, it's kind of like, you think that your kids are learning what they need to learn when they go to public school.
Right.
And so you just, okay, that's good. And then you look up, 3 years later and like, what?
They know
don't
nothing.
know how
No,
to...
they lower the standards and expectations. And her whole thing is she's mad about no homework.
Yes, she will like rant to me about that. She's like, Lucas doesn't have any homework. He comes home and he plays on his iPad. He doesn't have anything. I don't even know what Austin's doing in school. And I'm like, yeah, red flag right there.
Yep.
Homeschool's a good option.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully they'll see that. I mean, it's not for everybody, but I think that
I think
really
it'll be great
beneficial
for
a
them.
lot of
I
kids.
think it'll be great for them because they like to travel too.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, you learn a lot of things. Homeschool.
Well, I'm super excited for this ice cream shop. Super excited for this Airbnb.
I can't wait.
So February?
We're hoping February.
Knock
I
on
think
wood.
that's Tim. That's a question for Tim.
Tim?
So, Tim?
Yeah, Tim,
I
buddy.
think in February for us, I think the Airbnb will be done. I mean, we should get our CO in February or by February.
I think we need an episode with Brooklyn and Tim.
Oh my gosh, that would be hilarious.
We have to set aside like 6 hours for that.
Yeah,
I know.
Tim and his shenanigans. Man.
He is funny.
He cracked. Let's talk about like when you went to your spine surgeon. You're like, can you look at my back? I was at their kid's birthday party, Max's first birthday, and he goes up to Alex. He's like, yo, honey, my racing friend over here has a sore tooth. Can you look in his mouth to see what's going on? And she's like, I'm like pediatric dentistry. No, I'm not looking at his mouth.
They're all the same, right? I mean, minus a tooth or two. I mean,
She's like, no, I'm not helping. Like, I don't know. But yeah, we'll have to do a podcast with you two.
Yeah,
That'd be
well,
hilarious.
I thank you guys for having us, on here. It was. I didn't even know how these.
See, it wasn't painful.
No,
He was like, what's a podcast? And I'm like, what?
I know. I live in a little bubble. My wife always says, for somebody so smart, you are so dumb sometimes. And I'm like, is that verbal abuse? I mean,
Excuse me.
I'm going to call social services. I mean, is there something?
It's called elderly abuse at a certain point.
Yeah.
She always says, because I'm almost 50, and she's like, oh, I don't know if I can be married to a 50-year-old. She's 9 years younger, so she's like, oh. I'm I'm gonna trade you in.
No, trade you in.
I married you young so you can change my diapers when I'm older.
I know. He's
If your
always
friend
right.
can't change your chonies.
That's right.
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
if Jonathan can't come and do it, you got to do it. I'm sure he'll remember that because I'm sure he's like, this is the most awkward moment. I hardly know you, and I'm lifting your underwear up after you use the restroom. And I'm like, I
That's
cannot.
amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that's
What a
true
champion,
friendship.
right? I mean,
You
what
know,
guy would do
there
that?
aren't a lot of people like John the board, but there should be more.
Yeah,
I
There
agree.
should be
Definitely.
more because he will pull your underwear up for you.
Even if he doesn't know you.
Not every. I don't have a lot of friends that would do that. They'd be like,
I don't either.
Figure it out.
I have close friends, and I think my kids would be like, I ain't
Yeah,
doing
I'd
that.
be like,
Walk
heck
around-
no, no
Walk around
thanks.
naked, Daddy. You're good.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Well, thank you so much for coming.
Well,
We'll have to
thank
do
you
it
for having
again.
us.
It was such a
Definitely.
pleasure to meet you.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited for you guys.
Well,
Yes,
I appreciate
definitely.
it. Thank you guys for having us.
Of course.
Yeah.
Good time. That was fun.
That was so much fun.
Yeah.
I was laughing and crying at the same time.